Arkansas has always been a tough rebuild. Ever since they joined the SEC, they've been at a disadvantage. But I might have finally built a team for them that can win the conference. Malachi Nelson, a former 5-star bust, landed with us in Season 2, and now he's a senior. Don't get me wrong, the kid's far from perfect. He has 67 throw under pressure, but he also has some wheels with 91 speed. And that's why I'm setting the goal of winning the SEC this season. I'll be attempting this on the hardest difficulty, with the hardest and most frustrating sliders I have ever played on, and a schedule that includes 6 ranked opponents plus some other colleges that are just going to be a pain to face. Last season, we learned going 8-6 that there was no such thing as a free game on the schedule. But at least success isn't just in the hands of Malachi Nelson. Between Courtney Crutchfield, transfer Micah Tease, and tight end Jaden Platt, he's got great receiving targets to feed the ball to. And additionally, 6'4" freshman Zach Forrest has been showing a lot of promise through training camp that I hope he continues on. We also recruited 3 good freshman running backs last year, but somehow every single one of them's dev trait is normal, so we got extremely unlucky. It's a reason a gym like Eric Warner at that position is even on our board this season, and for the rest of it, we'll get more familiar with it as the year goes on. Right now, I have a lot of 5-stars on there. I'm not quite sure on whether or not we're going to be able to stay in these battles. That'll play out weeks from now, so let's just open up our season on the road at number 13, Nebraska. Now, I will say, with them having Isaiah Hunter at receiver, it's going to be hard for us to play man-to-man coverage because he is a monster. Same thing with freshman quarterback Barry Hankerson. They don't have Dylan Raiola anymore, but it doesn't matter because this kid has 97 throw power and also 90 speed. Opening our season with a road game in the game of the week isn't the most ideal way to start the year, but I'm very excited to get into it because we've switched up our offensive playbook and we'll probably continue to do that throughout the rest of the season as we figure out what's going to work best with Malachi Nelson. Our offense has been our weakest point. I think at least defensively, we've finally gotten the roster where I want it, which is something that we will need to make sure we prove on this drive. But if we look over at the offensive side of things, there's still a lot of positions where I know we could be even better. For us, tackling has been our biggest issue as of recently. I mean, they're breaking off a massive run here that we're just going to catch them on. Kamari Moulton could have taken that to the crib, so maybe our defense isn't as good as I was thinking. It took like 5 plays for Nebraska to score. We better hope that with returning a lot of starters and having a new offense out there, we can respond back. One thing I was really looking for was a way to get Malachi Nelson some more runs on the ground, but we're just not blocking. So now it's 3rd and 3. We're going to quickly take our check down, and I thought that one was over to our running back. Reach for it, reach for it. Getting familiar with our new playbook could also take this team some time, but Amarian Peterson is picking up right where he left off for us last season. Malachi Nelson, not so much. He's had a couple of carries, and he's already gotten dinged up to the point that Brady Hart is out there on the field, our backup quarterback that's thankfully an 87 overall. But it looks like it was just a bruised shoulder that had him out for a play. You can see him getting his shoulder a little bit loose before the snap. He's not Anthony Richardson. He's not going to sit out the drive. He's not going to ask for a break, say he's tired. No, he's going to push through this. And we're throwing up this 50-50 ball because Jaden Platt is that good. Even with the pass interference, the senior tight end could bring in the football. And I have another read option, but this time we were handing it off no matter what. We just got to run to the side that we have numbers on with Amarian Peterson, which is what we've done right here. That'll take us to the 4. This has been a very solid drive so far, and I would love to keep it up, which is exactly what we have done. Cameron Williams, the sophomore backup running back, just dove to the end zone. And I know I said I didn't want to play much man-to-man coverage, but we're currently in cover 2 man. I just have to be extra careful that they don't burn us deep. You can see right here, we had some clamps. We gave sophomore Daryl Cush enough time to get in some pressure, and they just went with a short throw on 3rd and 11. But they're not going to pick it up. They did. We really should have held them there, but we just hit them into the first down. I sent in a blitz this next play. No surprise, junior Tavian Wallace is at the end of it. Now on 2nd and 19, Barry Hankerson got way too much time, and we had him wide open. I feel like this team should understand. Isaiah Hunter is not somebody that you can just leave open like that. We are screaming in with some of these blitzes, though, which has been super nice. At some point, we got to switch up the coverage. We're going to man up Isaiah Hunter, and then we're also going to watch him, because I have a feeling he's going to find a way to get open here. Except Barry Hankerson does what he does best. 3rd and 4. They hand it off, and they're able to pick it up. Nebraska is continuing the success on offense in this game. Somebody will get the first stop at some point, though. And with man-to-man coverage here, we got him locked. I'm trying my best to alternate because I don't want Barry Hankerson to get too comfortable with anything. What a hit. The hit stick from junior Kelvin Hunter right here just saved us giving up more than a field goal. Even if he could have whiffed it and given up a touchdown, it was well worth the risk because now it's only 10-7. What I'm most curious about is how they end up responding defensively, and I'm seeing some weird alignment out of them. it could be a bad decision to just send this up to Courtney Crutchfield. He doesn't really have the speed to outrun these DBs. That's something about our receiving core that's different from last year. We're not going to beat them through the air off of just pure speed. But if they give us a look like that, we still have to take our chance with it, and the halfback draw got blown up. This glance post could get interesting. I'm going to have to make a decision, though, to throw it, which they got a hand on. And on 3rd and 13, Malachi Nelson still trying to get that shoulder fully prepared for a big play like this one. Just like that, though, we did the right thing. It looks like transfer. Micah Tease is going to make his first catch. I think he came over from Texas Tech, but we're going to go down. We're going to take a sack. That was exactly what they wanted from us. They wanted to press us and confuse us. Malachi Nelson rolls out and gets us into field goal range. But in my opinion, this is not a gimme, so it is best for us to just go for it here, where we're going to find Reno. Now, if you watch Season 2, you would know that Terrion Reno is one of my least favorite tight ends in the world. He's probably going to transfer after this season, but for the time being, the blocker is still getting out there on the field. Amarian Peterson is back. It should not have taken us as long as it has to start feeding him the rock again. We're celebrating our way in with Micah Tease, and I'm thinking that he's happy with his decision to transfer over to Arkansas. So far, our offense is looking absolutely incredible, but they had someone wide open there, and that tight end just broke 2 tackles. I think Barry Hankerson might put Nebraska in front in this final minute of the first half. Cover 2, that's how you beat it, and they're going to get even more. Nebraska fans do not look happy. They're probably pretty stressed, but I am fearing this offense that we're facing at the moment. They shouldn't feel too bad. I do think a surprise blitz could change a lot. On 3rd and 8, though, we're just going to have to lock down, play some zone coverage, and we didn't get him to throw the hitch. Now he's running backwards. That's fine. Junior edge Derek Simmons gets the pressure that we need. It's going to be a 1-point game, assuming that their kicker is good enough to hit from here, which he is. I'm even going to call the end of this first half like a real head coach. We're just going to come out and take a knee. I do not want to risk throwing a pick. I'm pretty sure we get the ball to start the second half, too. I'm pretty pleased with the spot that we're currently in. There was no reason to get more aggressive. I'll be curious to see what conversations Nebraska had at the half, though, when it comes to stopping us. So far, I feel like we're controlling this game. We use some play action, but we missed the simple layup. Inexcusable out of Malachi Nelson. On 3rd down, we're going to hit the delayed slant. Micah Tease then picks up his 5th catch of the day. He's up to 40 yards, and it looks like we're getting a good lane for Williams. I think Cameron Williams in the future, especially with another year development, has potential to be really special. On 2nd and 6, we're going to keep it on the ground. But there it is. Nebraska gets us on a 3rd and 8, which is what they wanted, except they have given up Cameron Williams underneath, so we easily have it. And we're going to keep the offense simple here by handing it off again. 2nd and 11, dropping back. We're just going to get out a quick read to Jaden Platt. I almost feel like this is 4-down territory for us, so I don't mind handing the football off again and seeing what we can do. Now, Amarian Peterson did not get enough, which scares me for 4th and 1. Malachi Nelson shaking out his shoulder. I'd much rather just hand it off. But Nebraska stopped us. Now, we're shooting in that hole, and are you serious? How does a quarterback 100 pounds lighter break that tackle? I mean, it's coming back either way. There was a flag on the play, but we should have rocked him. If Barry Hankerson's going to try and just stiff arm some of our 300-pound defensive linemen, I want him to go home to his dorm room unable to walk by the end of this day. In fact, I'd like us to make him go from being a mobile quarterback to being a pocket passer, which is what it seemed like he was doing there. I even called a timeout for this 3rd and 25 because I wanted to make sure we had the right defense out there to get the stop. Nebraska was not able to pick it up, and they never should have been able to. Courtney Crutchfield, I don't know where he thought he was going. He did all of this to get caught, but for a split second there at the end, he almost slipped away. Anyway, 1st and 10. Easy carry for Amarian Peterson. And I'm sure they think he's going to get the rock again, which is why Micah Tease has gotten it instead. One play we've always used is dagger after we've run the ball a lot, which is why we're going to try and mix it in again here. Apparently, nobody on Nebraska fell for it. Quarterback draw could work out decently. And the Stadium Pulse kicking in on 3rd and 5. They're guarding our hitch. That's not enough. You know what? I like Courtney Crutchfield one-on-one with this slant. Now, if it's zone coverage, we're going to have to look elsewhere. It was worth going for it on 4th down. Andy Jean, another trusted target we've had on this roster for a while. I thought Micah Tease might be able to get open deep, but he didn't put his hands up. Malachi Nelson tried to place it in the right spot. It's going to be 3rd and long. I don't love this, but the last time we were in a situation like this, we had an underneath read, and this time, Malachi Nelson is going to get a huge gain. Well, we have had some close calls on this drive, but we head into this 4th quarter in control, despite only being up by 1 point. We're going to see if we can get Jaden Platt with the bubble pop. It has to be a quick throw. I guess he's just going to get rocked and it's not going to work, but we got a halfback screen dialed up. We've not run these during the game, and that's why I think it worked out for us. If you run like 3 or 4 of those, the defense catches on really fast. But we have saved up our uses, still going with the inside leverage with the safety help over top. We run a lot of cover 2, but when we're switching between zone and man-to-man, the ideal is just, it's confusing the defense. I guess they weren't confused here. They break 1 tackle. Honestly, our day just got saved by the fact that junior Cameron Keys was able to bring him down. But it's looking like the Cornhuskers are about to tie things up unless we make a big hit. You know, Cameron Keys has been a real difference maker on this drive for us, though 2 missed tackles almost cost us there. This is a really big 3rd and goal. I don't think they're going to run it again. We have to watch for any deep routes in the end zone. We have a quarterback spy in case they try and run. But guess what? Barry Hankerson is 90 speed, so it doesn't matter when I put our 70 speed defensive end in a QB spot. Daryl Cush, you are no longer being used in this situation. Simmons, I think, is a little bit faster. Both of them are just big guys, though, so they're going to run it. It won't matter. They're not passing. Okay, with 4 minutes left, we still have a lead in this game. We're going to try and run out the clock. Looks like Cameron Williams is currently the running back that's in. I'd much rather see a Marion Peterson, who's going to get it on this next carry, but get caught up. This is a huge 3rd and 6. Stadium Pulse going crazy. You know who we're going to throw it to, though. Right on the cut as well. Courtney Crutchfield helping us move the chains, and we just got to keep it up. Nebraska's already used one of their timeouts. They still got multiple chances to stop the clock with the 2-minute timeout coming up. But I like it. We got another huge carry on the ground, followed up by a 2-yard run, and then another big one. I don't know how I didn't realize it, but that seals it because the Cornhuskers have no timeouts left. We might as well just score a touchdown, though, to rub it in. I have no problem with that. We want to make our offense look better, and Jaden Platt is open. You could argue that gives them a chance they didn't deserve, but they've been doing absolutely nothing with it. They've wasted a lot of time. And on 4th down, they're just going to probably send this one up or take the sack. We forced 6 sacks to the Cornhuskers 1. I think that was the real difference maker in this matchup. We both went scoreless in the 3rd quarter, and Malachi Nelson, no interceptions. That's key. He's been very turnover prone his entire career, but he wasn't in that game. Our championship contender ended up dropping with a win over a top 13 team, though. I don't like that. There's a lot of players that are currently at risk of transferring, and we're about to face Southern Miss. A win there probably doesn't change their mind. Over the coming weeks, we're going to start getting some players that are going to allow us to hard sell. The guessing game there can go pretty wrong, though. I thought I'd check out our school grades as well to see that we're currently on a 6-game home winning streak. We don't want to snap that. Our academic prestige is never going to change. I can't say it surprises me, but if you want to get a top-tier education, it's not going to be by going to Arkansas, which is why the least we could do is offer a championship-caliber football team for the students to tune into, and we're getting closer. That win on the road at Nebraska has me feeling a lot better about this team, even though we got 9 SEC games coming up. And I said in the intro, we can't overlook any school. Southern Miss is a team that you never know what might happen. But realistically, if there's anybody we should annihilate, it is them, and they're already getting us under pressure, but Malachi Nelson can escape it and find Micah Tees. This is really just a game for us to get more familiar with the offensive playbook that we're going to be running. Same thing defensively. Test stuff out, maybe see what some of the younger guys on this team are capable of. It's just really nice when you've worked to build up a team that is so much better than the one you're playing, because then you should be getting a much deserved win. Southern Miss is now the team that can't make the tackle. It's not us, but they did get us on a 3rd and goal where Courtney dropped the ball. Typically, we can rely on the junior, but we're just going to have to settle for a field goal and go on defense. It's crazy. We flew down the field, and it took almost no time for them to just get us to a field goal. Things can change fast. Speaking of fast, let's bring in a blitz, see how they handle all of this pressure. Emory Williams is the Golden Eagles quarterback. I think he was at Florida State. For all I know, though, he's transferred like 4 times in his career, and I just can't keep up with where everyone's from. Never mind. Apparently, he was with the Miami Hurricanes, so I knew it was a Florida school. Florida State fans are not going to like that switch up between the two of them. He missed an easy completion, though, that would have gotten them the 1st down, so him and his receivers are not on the same page. I kind of hyped up this running back room, so if they don't have a big game versus Southern Miss, then I look dumb. We just lost 4 yards there. Marion Peterson gonna lose another 2. Looks like we're about to get stopped and have to punt it straight back to them, held to a 3 and out, but we see the cover 3, and it's our first pick. I really have no words how that ball ended up over there. It was supposed to go through the seam. I want you to watch where number 14, Andy Jean, is, and just realize Malachi Nelson is doing his best Alexander Bean impression here. I mean, this ball isn't even close to where we wanted this to go. This is exactly why we cannot overlook anybody. Tavion Wallace is there. I guess EA just decided that we weren't going to get the interception there, though. 2nd and 4. This time, Tavion gets cooked and misses his hit stick. What was our team possibly doing in the middle of Fayetteville, Arkansas before this game? Because it was not preparing. We're about to be tied at the end of the first quarter. The writing's on the wall. They tested us too. Noah King got caught lacking. Joel Raymond, you got nowhere to go, buddy. Watch how quickly some of our guys can just fill it up. We're going to make them lose more. 3rd and goal. Similar situation to where we were at the end of our first drive. I highly doubt they're dumb enough to throw us an interception. They're being very aggressive, though. Emory Williams, not content with tying the game up with the field goal. They want the touchdown, and they should have had it. That is the 2nd time he's had a bad pass that is costing Southern Miss. I mean, they've played better than we have in this game so far. At some point, though, I just have to realize there's no way Micah Tease is going to get boxed up by some of these corners. Okay, maybe he is. Andy Jean isn't getting open either. That puts us on 3rd and 6. Man-to-man coverage. Courtney Crutchfield didn't catch it. Malachi Nelson needed to throw that like half a second later, and it would have been perfect. He was just scared of the blitz. He was scared that he wouldn't get that ball out in time. What a meltdown this has been offensively, though, compared to our last game against Nebraska. Last week, we were so efficient. We made so few mistakes, and this has been the polar opposite. I'm really disappointed right now, but that's great D. Noah King making up for some of his previous mistakes in this game, but that's the easiest first down I've ever seen in my life. We bit on the bubble too hard. We're going to shoot in that gap. Coleman Patman transferred in to make plays like that. I'm expecting him to actually pull it off. And I've just realized the magic of running man-to-man coverage versus Southern Miss. I was thinking, whenever we've played teams like Georgia in this rebuild, what have they done to lock us up? It's been running man-to-man. It doinks off of both posts, by the way. I have never seen anything more unlucky. But back to what I was saying. When we are the worst team, we get locked up by man-to-man. So that's what we need to be running against Southern Miss. The fact that they still haven't found a way to get onto the board either is genuinely crazy to me. We're about to get 2 big runs. Back-to-back plays you love to see. Maybe they'll get thrown off by the motion, and we can get a 3rd. But even if we don't, Amarian Peterson is a better athlete than most of these players. So I expected Stretch to work. I thought he'd get to the outside with ease. He didn't. It is 3rd and 9. And I want to lose my mind. We are struggling so much more with Southern Miss than Nebraska. The first week of this offensive playbook felt perfect. The second week has felt like regression, so we could still return to something else. That's the beauty of having flexibility. We're going to start bringing 5 players on every single play. We're going to bring a safety down as well, so they have to make a good read. And are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Cameron Keys, you're going to let yourself get burnt by this kid? Ridiculous stuff. We're currently trailing by 4 points. Jaden Platt, wide open, and hang on. This might be the play that gets us a touchdown back. This entire time, I should have just gone to the air. That's how we should have taken it. Micah Tease, go ahead. Beat this kid. If they're going to beat us deep, we could do the same. Or we could drop the football and still be trailing by 4 points. There's not a hole. Amarian Peterson is too thick to fit through there, so now it's 3rd and 8. And Courtney Crutchfield won't be able to make it to that football. We're punting it again. This is what you get in an Arkansas rebuild, though. Very realistic. Meltdowns against teams we should beat. Upsets against schools that should just cook us. And this is their biggest running lane yet. Without Joel Raymond having like 2 big carries in this game, he's had 15 total carries. His stats would look terrible. I can't believe Emory Williams was just able to get that football out, though. And now they're going to run for more, because Joel Raymond got great blocks. He's now at 68 yards on the day. This is just unbelievable stuff. Though, if they're this confident, they will keep feeding him the rock. No. 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 What happened to the team I love? What happened to the team that just put up a great fight against number 13 Nebraska? Sam Pittman's about to go on a Nick Saban-type speech in this locker room. These guys are going to get lit up at halftime. Good sack. Jordan Crawford was able to find him. 7 seconds left in this first half. We want this to be the final play, or else they're going to be able to burn a timeout and kick a field goal. We got a fumble. It's another time that Southern Miss is missing out on points that they should have easily had. Since I'm not content with where we're at in this game, though, we're trying to run a play at the end of the first half that could go for a lot of yards, and we almost got it. You give Micah Tease a little bit better juking there, and all of a sudden, we have a 10-7 lead. He got caught, unfortunately, and these fans have got to be disappointed. Look at them. They're banging on their seats. They're confused how we could possibly only have 3 points at the half. Luckily, Kelvin Hunter sniffed out that play from a mile away, and it's going to be 3rd and 7. We're going with our cover 2 with one guy on the outside manned up, hoping that this is enough to get them off of the field I don't think they have anything open. So there you go. That's how we needed to open up this third quarter. Now we're going for a big drive, or Amarian Peterson is just going to break off a run on the first play, and he is not going to get caught. We are back in front. Southern Miss has some sorry defenders on this team. Okay, maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself there. Maybe I got a little bit too passionate. I am frustrated still. That's why I had that comment. They obviously have not been that bad. I apologize to my Southern Miss fans. I apologize to the Southern Miss players that watch this channel, because I know there's a couple that do. I just can't let Arkansas lose to y'all in season 3 of a rebuild. It's not good for the business. Wally World's not going to be donating the same type of money to Arkansas football if we can't win here. They're going to force that deep into double coverage, though. What are you thinking? Kelvin Hunter's always going to be able to find that rock. So we really did light a fire under this team during our halftime speech. What a beautiful thing to see. Amarian Peterson gets this next carry, breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2. You best believe they're going to expect us to give him the rock again. Though I was going to throw that to Courtney Crutchfield. I really thought in this game he would do a better job handling the press. That just hasn't been the case. So we'll go back to what we know works. That's a new play that we've pulled out, but it's a different concept. It's getting Amarian Peterson open. Eventually, we knew Cameron Williams was going to come back in because Amarian had to get a break. Unfortunately for Cameron, he did nothing with that, though. Courtney Crutchfield going to be on a streak here. Probably not going to get the throw. We're just going to look for Williams. And I think the blame there has to go to Malachi Nelson. How are you a senior and still missing these easy throws? It's so frustrating for us. They have a read option as well. Emory Williams is about to get knocked. We literally knocked him up on that play. And I'm about to get into it with Noah King trying to hype up this crowd. Come on. Big 3rd and 5. Hit him hard. That's okay. You know, I think we've been a little bit too kind to the Golden Eagles. We should have been sending more blitzes, which is what we are doing here. That was a crazy throw. They break our first tackle attempt. Coleman Patman made sure they didn't get much farther, though. 3rd down. We got 2 guys over there, and we can't stop the kid. After this week, we have to play Georgia. If we perform like this, the Bulldogs are literally going to beat us by 40. I cannot stress enough how badly this has got to be fixed. Here we go. 3rd and 17. They have all the time in the world to just unwind here. 85's been a menace against us. That's why we let Cameron Keys just swat that one away. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to since he's shorter. Are they getting back to this punt? They didn't. Okay, we got to score on this drive. We got to put some difference between us and the Southern Miss score. Could be a big run out of Amarian. I'm done looking for the streak steep. I've just accepted this season. That's going to be something that won't be available. It was nice to have last season, but this season, we are going to have to earn every yard that we want. And Micah Tees will help with that, for sure. One reason I switched over to this playbook, though, was so we could get Malachi Nelson a little bit more involved on the ground. That has been something that we've not done a great job of yet. And his direct snap only gets him 2. We might have a quick read to Andy Jean on 3rd and 8, or we could just roll out and try and scramble for the first here. We're going to stiff arm. That helps. But look at my temptations. Courtney Crutchfield getting pressed. I guess teams have just realized they can do that against him. I did well. I did not switch up the play call to throw the ball, and he was in man-to-man coverage. It's crazy how in one game, he's gone from one of my favorite receivers to one of my least favorite because he has failed to make so many plays that he normally would. He'll redeem himself at some point this season, though, and I'll start loving him again. I'm sure of it. It's been a long drive, no big plays, and it should continue. Halfback draw, getting us 1. Nope, we lost a yard. 3rd and 11 now. Jaden Platt, though, is open. That's a huge mistake. I'm not sure what they were really thinking there. We're about to be at the 3-yard line. We'll just continue to keep it on the ground. Cameron Williams might get a touchdown, and he is. Okay, 4 minutes left now. It's seeming like we are going to be able to pull away in this game. But they have been selling me on these play actions. I mean, I am biting so hard, and we almost got a pick there. I guarantee that football was going straight towards Tavian Wallace, and he doesn't fail to catch those. He missed the tackle. But I'm going to continue to hype up the junior, even if he does want to transfer at the end of this season. The reason I am playing strong safety, Coleman Patman, in the sub linebacker spot is because his coverage stats should be good. By him failing to knock out that last ball on 3rd down, though, it defeats the whole purpose of him being here, and Tavian Wallace dropped an interception after I was glazing the kid. I guess I'm going to have to stop doing that. We get the blitz out, and they read the cover 3. Okay, this one's not over either. Last week, though, we ended a game off of just running the football. I would hope we could do the same thing versus the Golden Eagles. Quarterback draw coming. Malachi Nelson is going to pick up like 9, but he fumbles it at the same time we recover it. And I think I've seen enough. Let's just mix in a trick play and see if Southern Miss falls for it. We've not hit them with anything too crazy so far. I can't believe that we almost just gave them the ball back in this position. Malachi Nelson, hang on here. It is going to be 3rd and 5. Andy Jean is going to be my first read here, actually, if they're in man-to-man coverage. I trust he'll create some separation that he didn't. I don't know how, but we caught that football, except there was an injury timeout. So this one is not over yet. We still need 6 more yards. How difficult should that be? A lot harder than you might think. 3rd and 5. We're going back to the play that we ran on the first play of the game, and it's going to be a missed throw. Malachi Nelson is giving Southern Miss an opportunity to take us down in the last minute and a half. We are on the verge of getting upset by Southern Miss. I can't stress enough how awful this makes me feel. They also have a spread out play call, so we're not going to get this blitz in fast at all. We need Kelvin Hunter to make a play here, and he snagged it. He snagged it over that kid's head. Kelvin Hunter might be the greatest free safety we've had so far. This kid's had his moments where he's dropped it, where he's been disappointing, where he's left people open, but that is going to seal our win over Southern Miss. Should we be getting this excited for beating a team like them at home? No. With it being that close, do we stand a chance at winning the SEC like my goal for this video? Probably not. But you know what? For the time being, Arkansas is a top 10 team, and we're about to have to host #1 undefeated Georgia. So far, the Bulldogs have wins over Louisville, Florida State, and Oklahoma. All of those teams' only loss has come to Georgia. So I'm a little bit terrified. This is the start of us playing 3 top 10 teams, and then we have to face Arkansas State before playing another top 10 team on the road. Lots of road games coming up near the end of the season. We have more that are going to be at home. But of all the matchups we have, I am most worried about this one because you all saw what Georgia has done to us in the last couple seasons. It's the game of the week, but it might be a blowout with us losing. Priority number 1 is just preventing that from happening. That's going to come from getting some defensive stands and managing the clock super well. Georgia gains 20 yards on their first play. Their main tight end looks like an absolute monster that's going to be pretty difficult for us to stop. When he's wearing number 10, you have a reason to fear him, but they just hand it off, and there's so much room. In fact, I think Tavon Sims should have gotten more there. We've kind of pressed down some of our corners on the outside with the hopes of stopping the run. This Georgia offensive line is just outpowering us, and we forced a fumble. We didn't pick it up, though, and they're even saying it might not have been a fumble in the first place. It wasn't. But we were very close to just getting this stadium lit up. Our stadium pulse is still maxed out at the moment, too. They got some motioning going on the 2nd and 12, and they're actually going to lose a couple yards if we made the first tackle. Tavion Wallace, though, wraps up. He makes the play. They're not going to have anything underneath, and they're going to have to kick their 3. From this distance, it's not a freebie either. This is exactly what we wanted to see out of our defense. That's going to curve on in. Still, though, the fact that they didn't just walk us down the field and immediately score 7 points makes me feel good. It means a lot to me. Keeping things on the ground. Malachi Nelson, he's going to pull it, and he's not going to get the first. But I'm really hoping that we can just hold our blocks so we get it here, except we don't. That's pretty frustrating because we just got held to a 3 and out instead of being able to get anything out of that drive, and they're about to start at the 45. But we can learn from it. If we are on a 3rd and short at any point in this game, we're going to probably have to throw the football. Just like when we're on defense, when we're on offense, we are not going to win that battle up front. And I'm pressing. I'm shaded underneath because I'm sure they're going to take a drag, but we just didn't get our hand on the football. Currently, we are reading Georgia like a book. They're just so talented, it doesn't matter. There is a rare missed pass from the Bulldogs, though, and we're about to get a sack with a fumble. Great disruption there. 3rd and 20. Everybody is backed up. They can take some of these underneath throws if they wanted to, but they didn't. They let Daryl Cush get the sack, which makes no sense. They could have had a field goal there if they just took a check down. Now we have to make sure this doesn't bounce too short. If that stopped on the 1-yard line, starting this drive would have been an absolute nightmare for us. Final play of the first quarter. We're just going to go underneath. Let Courtney Crutchfield get something going. You love to see it. Our next handoff gets us 3. To win this game, Amarian Peterson does need to have a really big day. I love when he just runs a dude over. We got a kid on this roster that plows through guys like it's nothing, though he got taken out for this play. Apparently, he was plowing too hard, didn't have the stamina for it, so we needed a break. And now he's getting stuffed. And I'm going to fall for the trap I fall for every single game. Courtney Crutchfield. Can he beat the press? Hang on. It looked like he might have done it here. This is for all those times we've taken our shot. Never mind. He got locked up. We're going to look for him on a slant, but he's getting clamped. Once again, he drops the ball. And it's going to force us to either attempt a 59-yard field goal, punt it back to them, or go for it on 4th and 12. I feel like this is our best option. In this scenario, power was good enough, but the accuracy was not. Josh Neiman knew that to make that kick, he had to kick it as hard as he could, and that's where he sacrificed his accuracy. Georgia gets a nice low play there, though we could have gotten a pick out of that one. You can really just see how much we've improved defensively by the way that we're playing in this game versus the 2 last year. Like, I remember the conference championship. It felt like we had absolutely no hope at stopping them at all. though there's their breakaway run. They're inside the 7. Taven Sims doesn't touch it much, but when he does, it's not fun. Tavion Wallace is going to have to make the play. He really just saved us there, though he's getting caught up, and they were throwing the ball. That's our 3rd sack in this game now. I have to expect that we're not going to let them get into the end zone in this situation, which we don't. And maybe they'll shank the kick as well, keeping it at 3-0. Which they do. We're playing the same way offensively, though, that we did against Southern Miss. Just not having that much success. Georgia's defense continues to find ways to hold us, but the halfback screen is going to be a big play. On 3rd and short, I really just love the idea of looking underneath quickly to Micah Tease. It was a low pass, but he still was able to run under it. And it keeps the drive alive for us as we're about to get an 8-yard run. At some point, we're going to hit them with the play action. See if we can get any big gains against their defense. Malachi Nelson is not going to hit Crutchfield in time. If that was a little bit harder of a pass, though, it would have gone perfectly for us. We had him ready to roll out again, and he could have fumbled. It looks like they're now going to give us some cover 3, but it was hard to tell. We're just going to hit Andy Jean. It morphed into some cover 4 quarters, and we got a little bit of a block out of the angle route there, which gave us more time. Signs of us scoring a touchdown to end this first half are looking up. At the very least, it's going to be a tie game, but I'd love if it was more than that. But that late read has cost us. It's now 3rd and 8. They are guarding Courtney Crutchfield well. They were literally waiting for him to come across on that drag, so we couldn't throw it as quick as we did. If you love defense, this has been a great game for you. If you love offense, this has been an absolute snooze fest so far. But it's going the exact way we needed it to if we wanted to win. If we face an offense that's going to put us into a shootout, it's going to be a real struggle. Georgia's not been that so far, though, and that's a nice gap for Marion. At some point, we have to see if we can catch them off guard as well, which is what I thought we were going to do right here. Malachi Nelson just keeps getting confused, though, with all of these match concepts that they're running, and we had a touchdown. It's about to be 3 straight passes for us. You know what that means, unless we can hang on to this ball. But we didn't. Typically, if we pass it 3 times in a row on a drive, we're not going to end up picking up the first down. That's when we have to punt it back to the other team. To be fair, though, this is a lot of what Texas Ohio State looked like this past weekend. A low-scoring game, mistakes, defense is dominating, so we could still be a top team even without scoring much against them. I do like that every point has 100% been earned. And even little touches like that where you just throw it a little higher than it should be can cost you your entire drive. Now Courtney Crutchfield gets a good return. I did see him beat the press, which is where we could have had a touchdown before our offensive line didn't give us enough time. The one time he does, we couldn't get the throw out, but that is something I'm currently keeping in mind. Malachi Nelson gets the first with his legs. And this is such an interesting play to me because I think Micah Tease against some zone coverage could be extremely open. We got the worst animation of all time. It's a drop. Should have gone with the possession catch. Malachi Nelson on 2nd down makes it 3rd manageable. We'll see who we end up throwing it to here. It's just a quick read, and they didn't get their hand up. Slow, consistent drives. This is what we need to beat the Bulldogs. We're just eating away at this defense, one play after another. And after back-to-back big runs, I've stayed in hurry-up mode for a little bit, thinking it would help us out. Instead, though, it's gotten us to a 3rd and 7, where the Bulldogs leave the drag open. We're going to have to juke for the first. It is just enough to move the chains again. They're shooting through that gap fast. You know what? It's time to see if Cameron Williams has the speed to make a play on the edge. It looked like they were trying to jog there. He fumbled out of bounds, and we just got so lucky. I didn't mean to hurry up. We might need to call a timeout here, but if he fumbled in the end zone, that would have been bad. We just got bailed so hard. Malachi Nelson is getting stuffed. I don't think they're going to do it 2 times in a row, though. We're hurrying it up, and he gets in. Well, it almost took 4 quarters for somebody to score a touchdown, but it was us that got it first. And now we get to live on the side of the ball that we want to live on in this game. That play action was lethal, but not when you got Daryl Cush coming that fast. Everybody's backing up. We're protecting the sticks. It's 3rd and 15, and they actually tried to pull that off. They're basically just thrown into double coverage, hoping for anything. And you know what? We'll test it. I'm greedy. We'll see if Micah Tease or Courtney Crutchfield can gash them deep. It works every time, doesn't it? We actually got them on this play, but they had another guy back. Courtney Crutchfield still going to make the catch. Malachi Nelson had to place this in the perfect spot, though, and he has now completed 500 passes in his career. What an ending to the 3rd quarter. We'll start with one of my favorite plays of all time on this game. It's going to get us like 15. Amarian Peterson currently averaging like 6 yards per carry, but he only has 11 carries on the day. We've run stretch out of this formation a couple times now, so they probably think that's what's coming here. But instead, it's just going to be a hard throw to Jaden Platt. I have no issue with going back to Malachi Nelson and doing 5 or 6 straight quarterback sneaks if that's what's needed. Last season, he fumbled on a couple of these. We're willing to take the risk. I really did not believe we had what it took to go up 2 possessions, but we actually got it done, and there's one guy open. This defense has completely changed this team because offensively, I'd say we're performing about the exact same as we did last season. 3rd and 11, we got our defensive line as spread out as it possibly gets. And once again, the clamps are on. We could basically end this one right here. Get Georgia off of the field. We gave it up. They break 1 tackle, and they broke another. They got it. How were they able to just squeeze out the extra inch that they needed in that situation? There's no shot. We had 3 dudes on him, and he gets a first down. I don't know if they gave up because they saw the ref throw the flag on the field or what, but at least it's coming back. And I might regret going with the man-to-man coverage I have on this play. I do. There was no reason for us to send 5 there, but we're going to get the interception with Noah King, and our biggest win of the season is going to be against #1 Georgia. Everything's changed. When Southern Miss made it hard for us to beat them, I had no confidence. Now that we are beating the #1 team in the country by multiple possessions, though, and honestly, we should have gotten a sack on this play or an interception. That's just lucky. Anyway, back to what I was saying, though. Now that we've played Georgia like this, I know this year we could take down any team on our schedule. In typical Arkansas fashion, we could also go 6-6. That is a real possibility we have to consider. But I don't know. It just feels like things are going to be different than the past 2 seasons, that this might actually be our year. Granted, I will admit, Georgia's made a lot of mistakes, even like dropping that ball there. That could have completely changed this game. They had the missed field goal, multiple drives that they just weren't able to finish off. And now they're throwing it into double coverage. But either way, this is still the Bulldogs that we're talking about. A team that we just played super well. Kelvin Hunter gets another interception. He's not going to get the pick 6. And I'm pretty sure they're not even going to call timeouts. But if they force a fumble, they'll get right back into this game, except we scoop it up. Whenever we fumbled the ball this season, we've been the lucky team. I'm sure there will be a point where the luck will not be going in our favor, but right now, we might be able to get ranked inside the top 5. It's not like Malachi Nelson's even having a crazy season. He's really doing just enough offensively for us to win, but take a look at all these players that still want to transfer despite our success. The season's not getting any easier either. We know that we're about to have to head on the road to play against Texas A&M and then play against Auburn the next 2 weeks. By now, on the recruiting side, I have to unfortunately accept when we're not going to win out on a 5-star, even when we're not going to win out on a 4-star, Eric Warner is going to choose Georgia or Clemson. They're just better. Whenever we remove guys from our board, though, we can use those hours to schedule visits for other players that we're sitting in first place for. And the next time a lot of players can come in is week 7 against Arkansas State, but that won't get a big bonus. I still don't feel very confident that we're going to land anybody on our board, though, so once we actually get closer to commitments, maybe we can get more into it. For now, my focus has to be solely on us continuing to hopefully win. Both of these teams have some very talented receivers, but one of them is stuck in an offense that doesn't utilize him as much. So we'll see how much Auburn tends to go through the air. If they throw it a lot and they get us into a shootout, I think that's all it's really going to take to beat us. I definitely think we're better at stopping the run this season than through the air. Here we go, though. A huge 3rd and 5 early on. We're going to press. We're going to shade underneath. And then we don't play underneath. The weakest spot on the field for us right now is over the middle of the field. That's where we got to control it. I can even drag guys like Noah King down to help, but if they end up going over the top of our defense, we'll have an issue. We're going to switch it up here, man-to-man coverage, see if we can force them into a mistake, but instead, they just got the huge carry that they wanted, and we don't get a fumble. We could have contained there, but we chose not to. We knew that was a possibility. Just like that, though, we're down 7-0 on the road with a big need for a touchdown. Good carry from Marion Peterson there. We'll even throw it for a few more. I knew they'd probably make that tackle, but it was worth a shot. Look at this running lane for Malachi Nelson. Our blocks are actually not looking too bad against the Auburn defensive line at the moment. There's certain plays like that one where we could definitely use a little more patience. It would go a long way. For the most part, though, very happy with what we're seeing so far. Marion Peterson moves the chains again. One of our offensive linemen walked off of the field after that play, though, holding his elbow. I hope he's not out for long. This feels like a really good time to mix in some play action and see if we can get anything big, except they got off of that left edge. I don't know what button is in the end zone, but we had someone open. That's the home field advantage working out for the Tigers, and I saw the pocket collapsing. Malachi Nelson doesn't care. He's in the end zone. His legs saved the end of that drive. That's for sure. I still can't believe that we really considered benching him last season when he started off playing pretty rough. I think if we went with Brady Hart, this program would be in a completely different spot. To start the second quarter, we're going to be on a big 3rd and 4 as well, which worked in our favor. They only needed 4 yards, but they took an extremely conservative approach to it, And we're normally looking for those underneath plays. That's what our defense is meant to stop. If they're willing to test some of our corners and safeties dropping back, I'm willing to give them deeper options. Now that draw play to start this drive didn't go too well, though we're going to fight off that first tackle attempt. It was a hard run from Marion Peterson. I'm honestly tempted to try an audible here because I think they're going to blow up the run. We'll see. Micah Tease, get out there. Seriously? This entire play falls on senior Andy Jean. All you had to do was hold him for 2 seconds. We could have kept our drive going, potentially going up 14-7, but instead, we're punting it back to the Tigers, and they're not going to field the punt. It's fine, though. We know that defensive games are the ones that we typically end up doing the best in. This could still be one of those, though we overcommitted to the run, and they're going to get like 20 out of it. I thought we had that sniffed out perfectly. Turns out we didn't. That wasn't a read option either. Harlem Berry is starting to get things going on the ground. That's exactly why we needed to come in hot with Kelvin Hunter, and we can knock that ball out, or we can let them just bounce off of our initial tackle and score a touchdown. You know what? Maybe the blitz wasn't the best decision there, but it is the one that we went with. Malachi Nelson rolls out, and it's a flag. It's a flag. To draw that defender down, he had to step past the line of scrimmage. Worst part is we just lose 5 yards. We don't get that down back. Now we're going to pull it, and he has a chance to make up for the last one. But it is now 3rd and 10. It's going to be pretty hard for us to convert here unless we get past the marker. Marion Peterson somehow did it. I wasn't even able to reach out with him, but he still got what we needed. That's a bad place to fumble, though. With that many guys around you, you just got to go down. You have to know that you're probably gonna be hit. Big 3rd and 6 for the Tigers. They've gotten us exactly where they want us, and we're throwing it straight at him. Jaden drops it. What is he doing there? Why? Why is our star senior tight end dropping the ball when he has it in his hands? That would have been game-changing. It's looking like we might pick up our first loss of the season. Blitz did not get in, and this is scary. This is really scary. We got to somehow force him out of bounds. No more blitzes. Auburn has handled them very well. We thought it'd be cute to test them, but it hasn't been. Really? I know Jameer Scott is only a sophomore, but that ball stayed in the air for way too long. He bounces off of a hit stick, and there's a flag before the play. We jumped off sides. I had no control over it either. I have never seen that before. Never mind, it was a neutral zone infraction. Well, we're getting penalties in this game. They're pretty rare, but we're getting them. That was another thing that was adjusted with some of these sliders. I thought we had a sack too. All right, on 3rd and 10, we have a quarterback contain in case he tries to scramble. We're going to be on Tavian Wallace because this is the spot on the field where we would typically give something up. And I'll even call a timeout so we have a chance to score. It's a relief that they're only going to get a field goal. But still, this game is going the exact way that we couldn't let it go if we were going to take down the Tigers. Can we give some credit to Malachi Nelson for that throw, though? He was able to hook up with Andy Jean. Halfback screen gets us nothing. Turned into an absolute waste of a play and a timeout. We have to think about what's important in this spot, though. We cannot let the home field advantage get to us. Are you kidding me? I was simply just trying to scramble so we could get in field goal range, snap the ball. We're going to get this out quick. We're going to laser it. And the goal was to get a field goal before the end of the first half, but we just messed up that goal. And can we get a fumble? We get a fumble. It doesn't really matter. It's not like we could return it for anything, but that's some momentum going into the 3rd quarter. I feel like we've just not handled playing on the road well. We've been making a lot of mistakes that we shouldn't have, but here, Micah Tease will help us pick up the first. And I'd love to go back to the ground with Marion Peterson. We're just going to need to see some big gains like this one, which we got. I know that's not going to be every play. I know that we're going to have a lot of runs that get nothing. We just got to stick with it anyway. So we're going to continue to run the football. Marion Peterson's not going out either. He said he wants to make sure this game gets back within a possession. Big play from Malachi. I might be messing up our rhythm by going through the air on this next play, and they got a free rush in. Our blocking has been atrocious in a lot of key moments in this game. Marion should not have had to come back to catch that ball. We could not afford being on a 3rd and 11, but we catch it, and Micah Tease reaches for the first. We literally just put all our faith in him to get open, though they shot that gap. They might be able to get a goal line stand against us. Obviously, at this point in the game, we cannot afford that. We've had such a good drive down the field. We hang on to it. And I was going to hand this ball off until I saw the defense they came out in and who was in it running back. It was worth burning our first time out. This is the biggest play of the game, though once again, they're giving us a very similar look. I feel like we need to audible over into a pass. My first read is Jaden Platt, but we missed him. We missed him. That's it. Unless we can somehow just get a safety here, which we're missing on. There's a flag. Doesn't matter. I think we shot over the line of scrimmage way too fast. It was against them. They still got a positive gain out of that, though. It must have been later on in the run. I think they're going to continue just to run the football. There's another flag, and they are doing anything they can to avoid taking a safety. I think it's time we load up. This could lead to a touchdown. It could lead to us getting burnt extremely bad, and we knocked it loose. You know what? What a play there. We took a risk. It paid off. They have a wide receiver stack in the middle of this formation. That is a rare thing to see. Look at all the time they had, though. That hurts. Auburn picks up the first down. They're going to gain a couple more. We're in a spot in this game where it's just really hard to come back. We seriously could not afford to get stopped where we did, and it's going to hurt us bad. It's a missed throw. Okay, our comeback hopes in this game are not over yet. We're going to start at about midfield. And I saw a cover 3 that we could just annihilate here, or a blitz. I think it was literally both of those. Back on NCAA Football 14, this concept that's out there on the field was one of my favorite ones. We're not going to use it for a deep shot, though. We're just going to scramble. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of this 5-wide formation, and Malachi is going to get another run to end this third quarter. We're currently trailing the number 7 team on the road, but we are close to bringing this one back within a possession. We just got to finish this drive off. Once we get down to this spot on the field, you know that they're probably going to shed a lot more. They're going to be aggressive. But what's our choice? Not feed the ball to Marion Peterson? That would be delusional. We're going to hand it to him, and he's going to get that outer edge. Job is not finished, though. We're still trailing by 3. Everything we did on our last drive, too, to get a stop kind of goes out the window. Shaw, what are you doing? You're a senior. Bradley Shaw literally got down on one knee, put his hands up to catch it, let him hit it in the hands, and now Auburn is going to be past midfield. Can I encourage Bradley Shaw to transfer mid-season? I want to. The worst part is he's not even typically out there on the field. He's a backup for a reason. They just mossed us. It's like you're just seeing all this hope that we've had go out the window. We're bringing guys down into the box, even though we're sitting out here in a cover 4. Watching for the slant. We didn't watch for the other. I'm going to have to pinch our defensive line in case they wanted to run the ball. They ran it to the outside, and we can stop them. We stopped them. Good hold up. Okay, holding them to a field goal means we score a touchdown. We win this game. This is feeling a lot like Arkansas season number 1. We had a lot of games that came down to the wire like this. We haven't gotten a kick return in a while either. We don't need to rush anything, that's for sure. With 3.5 minutes left, plenty of time to get small gains. We could very quickly find ourselves on a 3rd down, though, if we don't pick up something here. They're basically just asking for us to run it up the middle out there in this formation. I'm going to do it 2 times in a row. I feel like we had the personnel. He got in our way. This team's actually making me mad. We snapped this before the 2-minute timeout, and we're getting a big gain out of the read option, though that could have been a fumble. That could have been a fumble. Was it worth the extra few yards? Well, it felt like it was worth the extra few yards until I saw the risk of us fumbling and losing our chance at coming back in this game. Look at that, though. We're down to the 11-yard line. We basically have 4 plays to get into the end zone, and our first run's getting stuffed. I really did not want Auburn to have a chance at coming back, so I've taken down a lot of the clock. We almost just threw a pick. If that was a possession catch, we're in. I panicked, though. I thought the linebacker was going to play it. We'll see what we have. Jaden Platt gets the first, and then I accidentally chewed the clock too far, like way too far. You can see where the ball is spotted at, but there's only 7 seconds left, which means we're going to throw this out. Immediately, he catches it, and the senior tight end has made up for his drops in this game because we just won in the final seconds. I guess just to make sure we should kick this extra point and not leave it up to Sim, it goes in. I know it is still early on in the year, but it's really feeling like this Arkansas team's going to have what it takes to compete for a playoff spot. It's another hard-earned win for us where Malachi Nelson did just enough. Again, it's crazy how much better we're performing when we're not averaging like 2 picks a game. We also just picked up our first signing out of Little Rock, Arkansas, Johnny Tangelo. He's a 4-star gym. He could end up on the defensive line, though. Normally, those agile athletes end up there. We are in the lead for 2 5-stars, too, that are gyms. RJ Harris only is 88 speed, though, so I'm not that excited for him. He's just as fast as this linebacker. Of all the guys on our board, it's starting to seem like there's going to be a few 5-stars that really consider us. Like, no one's going after Darren Friday right now. Oklahoma just jumped into the lead on Garrett Murphy, but at least we'd get 1 5-star linebacker. 2 of Quentin Osborne joins our team, and then we have free safeties like Lorenzo Willett that are going to be visiting in the future, George Dora on the offensive line. Actually, a lot of 5-star offensive linemen that are coming in. So you can see the roles I'm trying to fill. I want to be able to compete with Georgia on the ground. I want to be able to compete with Alabama there as well. I don't want them to just dominate with their defensive line. It's an area where we are still outmatched. It's time for the Southwest Classic, though. Texas A&M, number 1 in the country. Arkansas, number 3. Has to be the game of the week. It's going to be massive. It has a lot to do with the SEC standings, has a lot to do with the top rankings. And even if we lose this game, let's say we do, we have so many quality wins already, we might not fall in the polls. I just thought about that, and it made me realize that the playoffs are not unattainable. Like it all for us, but there have been other times in this series where we have felt that way. Normally, we get too far ahead of ourselves, and then we start to lose and lose. I'm hoping that's not the case the third time in the row, but you see how Texas A&M's coming out. They're coming out strong, and we're going to have to chase them down with Patman. This is the same thing that happened against Auburn, though. Auburn came out very solid offensively. Then once we ended up settling in, it ended up being okay, but they're in. They broke every tackle they needed to. They got in on every play that they needed to, and now we're going to let Malachi Nelson take 20 or 15. I figured they'd think we'd start the game with a run, so at least keeping it with him kept them on their toes. Amarian Peterson is out there, though, for this next one. He just missed where he needed to be. Big 3rd and 1. And we're going to get enough. We're going to get more than enough. Cameron Williams' stock is currently rising at the moment, though I don't love that route. The design of it was just bad. We had to fight through multiple of our receivers to be able to get open, and I think it slowed down how open we would have been. Now it's 3rd and 9. Things are scrambled. We're going to see if Malachi Nelson can just make a good throw. I'm not sure that was the read. Yes, he was open. Not enough to get past the marker. Going to be a hard kick to hit, but I think it should be good. I don't mind that out of our first drive, but we need to show a little bit better defense on this one. Took a while for pressure to get in. If they're able to walk us down the field 2 drives in a row, that's where we're really going to have our problem. They're at the 40. 20 more yards, and they're going to get another field goal. We might have a problem. We just gave it up. We just gave that up. Simple defensive and mental mistakes are costing us. And this is feeling like what it did against Georgia in the SEC championship last year. Sometimes teams come out hot, and there's just not much that you can do about it. I'm liking this hole, though, for Amarian. We're going to hand it off again, let him get a few more. Or I guess it's Cameron Williams that's out there on the field at the moment. Those are the throws, though. It just drives me nuts. Malachi Nelson isn't able to hit. We got the press look, and I want to take a shot to Micah Tease. We really haven't given him much of an opportunity. There was a reason we had that much time, though. The stadium's at least gotten a little bit quieter after that, which is nice. It gave us an opportunity to scheme up the last play of this first quarter that we want to run, and it'll make it a 3rd and 15. This might just be a play where Malachi Nelson has to make the play himself on the ground. He can sense the pressure coming in. He doesn't have what it takes to outrun this kid. If he takes off a little bit quicker, maybe he does, but we're going to pin them inside the 10-yard line. If we were ever going to stop the Aggies, it should be on this drive. They have a long way to go. If they take us 94 yards down the field, they deserve it. At that point, I just have to accept this game's not meant for us. We just got obliterated up front. I guess if we're going to get through that hole, we got to be more aggressive. Kelvin Hunter did just that. They go with the jet touch pass, and they have nowhere to go with Tavion getting out there. All right, 3rd and 13. We're stuck on the defensive line, but all we have to do is make one tackle. We went for the hit stick. We went for another. Realistically, though, who cares? We proved we could stop the Aggies, which is something I wasn't so sure of until that drive. So that's nice. Now we just got to get our offense going a little bit more. We could end this first half very strong, as this halfback screen is going to break free. They're going to catch us, though. Cameron Williams was so close to turning that into a house call. He's not going to do it here. He had no idea someone was coming from another angle, though. Well, it's hard to do much when their defensive line is eating the way that they're eating in this game. Kyle Field is not an easy place to play at in the first place. That's not helping us either. At least we're going to get another 3. You know that our drives finishing like that, though, are going to be the reason that we're not able to beat the Aggies. Really doesn't help that Caleb Komalafe has 6 carries for 86 yards either. We're honestly just relieved he didn't break that tackle. I'm trying to get us prepared to stop the run underneath, but they're still moving it. I don't really love the coverage that we had on this play, but we could have put our hands up. It actually worked out better than I thought it would. 2nd and 10, looking for a corner route, and I wasn't looking on that side of the field, but guess who gets over to it? Safety Noah King has made so many plays on defense, and I have been gatekeeping a really good play in this playbook. Halfback direct snap. I wanted to see how it would do. We can't use that much until later in the season. I don't want teams to know Amarian Peterson is capable of pulling that one off. We still got 8 yards out of that, too. That's pretty solid for a play that we didn't think anybody was going to get open on. It's pretty obvious the players on this team that are letting me down at the moment, though. You could argue we need to get Courtney Crutchfield some more looks down the field, and that might be somewhat valid. Recently, we've barely used our receivers, so when he finally does get an opportunity to catch the ball, he's not ready. His confidence is much lower than it was to start the year. Now we're going for a 50-50 ball, and we almost brought it in. That probably wasn't the best use of our second down play, but we'll take our slant over to Gene, who breaks the tackle. All right, with 3 timeouts left in the half and 30 seconds, I think we can start to run it and see if that helps us get into the end zone. The numbers look better for Marion Peterson over on this left side of the field. He has to beat one guy, though, and he did. Well, we got the numbers up front for this play call. The question is, are they going to hold up? And they do. We don't even need to chase points either. We're going to be down by 1, a lot closer than I thought it would be. The best part is we get to start this second half with the football, with a return that goes nowhere. But we have momentum on our side, and we're about to hit Jaden Platt. Or not. Maybe next year we'll have a quarterback that can make more of those passes. I don't think you all understand. It's not as easy as just not holding down the ball for that long. It's the sliders. And the fact that Malachi Nelson's accuracy isn't the best. And the fact that it's on Heisman. All of it just makes it harder to throw accurate passes. It's what we want, though. If he wasn't missing any throws, it wouldn't be college football. We are going to pick up this 3rd and 1. And there was a flag on this play, too, before we snapped it. It was against Texas A&M. We snapped it when we saw that they were potentially offsides. That's where hurry-up mode can get you right. You catch them offside, you get a free 5 yards. No gain on that run, though. 2nd and 4. Blocks are looking a lot better. Marion Peterson is stiff-arming a kid. So the crowd has settled down for a play, and that could have been intercepted. Everything about that was ugly. Probably shouldn't have thrown it on 1st and 10. Our counter, though, getting some great blocks for Cameron Williams. Our offensive line is putting in some real work versus this Texas A&M defensive line. Both of our running backs are averaging about 6 or 7 yards per carry. This 3rd and goal is going to be stressful, though. We're not going to hand it off. We're going to look over to Courtney Crutchfield, but there's a flag. Hang on. It's going to be against us. This is all coming back. There it is, the home field advantage kicking in. I don't think Malachi Nelson can save this drive, but he might have. We no longer want a field goal. We want this touchdown that we deserved, and we're just going to roll out and go for it. Oh, no. We had someone open on the left side. What am I doing? Malachi Nelson looked him off too soon. That was his first read, but it looked like he was guarded. What's crazy is if we get a safety, we could still take a lead, or we could give up a 99-yard touchdown. There's no way anybody's getting back to catch him. He's gone. He's gone. Texas A&M up by 8. I've been playing college football video games on this channel for about 3 years now. That's the longest touchdown I've ever given up. But Marion Peterson is going to respond immediately back. He is running hard. And I think it is time that we go for the 2-point conversion. If there is one player that's getting this ball, it's him. We're going straight up the middle 2 times in a row. But he's going to get stuffed. As I watched the play back on the Jumbotron, I noticed it was Cameron Williams out there. So not the smartest choice. That's just not a position where our receiving back is going to shine. How many RPO options did they have? Oh, well, we could still get them off the field with this 3rd and 4. Everything's covered. Everything is covered. There we go. Exactly what we needed. A stop so Marion Peterson can get this ball back. He's on fire. His abilities are going to start lighting up. He now has downhill, which is going to allow him to run even harder. And I've only given this kid 10 attempts in this game. He's 152 yards. He's got to be getting this rock more. I don't know why I thought he had more attempts than he did, but I guess we've just used our backup a bit too. Big 3rd and 1. You see who's in the game. I'm not happy about it, but we can't really change up the play call with the Stadium Pulse. At some point, we have Malachi Nelson as a threat as well, who can pull the ball and get a big gain out of the read option or fumble it out of bounds. That fumble rolled exactly where it needed to. Look at how aggressive Texas A&M's getting at stopping the run, though. We got hit immediately. Stadium Pulse kicking in to start this 4th quarter. Courtney Crutchfield, he just got no separation with that route. It was embarrassing. For a 91 overall, he should be cooking that kid. But if there's one thing we know about his stats, it's that he couldn't become a great route runner, and we still hit from like 58. Every so often, Josh Neiman is just showing his special talent. And I feel like the simpler we have been able to keep things defensively, the better that we have done in this game. All the time in the world, but nobody to go to. Definitely unfortunate he got that throw out, because that would have been a very hard 3rd and long for them to pick up. It hurts, and it hurts a lot to see, but there's a flag. Good news for us. There's been so many illegal block in the back penalties in this dynasty. And surprisingly, more of them have come against the computer than against us, which has been really nice. After that play, though, I think it's about time that we just start to back guys up and let them take some underneath throws. We don't want to give up anything too major. It's going to be 3rd and 10, where we have the exact same concept, though being stuck on Simmons is not good news for us. Thankfully, quarterback Chase Jenkins just didn't want his team to move the chains. We're going to hopefully watch this ball just bounce into the end zone. And there is a chance Texas A&M never sees the rock again. There's 4.5 minutes left in this game. But we've had drives that can last most of the quarter. No reason that we can't do it with a lot of big runs. The hard part about this 3rd and inches, though, is are we going to be able to get it? I've seen us get stuff there before, and look who they have over on that right side. I think we can put them in ISO and really get them with this reverse. You know, sometimes it's better to just keep things simple. You switch it up, and you really mess it up. Looks like Texas A&M's getting this ball back. 3rd and 16. It's going to be very hard for us to convert on. Can we make this catch? We can. I thought Malachi Nelson put that in the right spot too. It's unfortunate, but I'm fine. I'm fine. We've already watched this defense clamp up when it needed to the most. I think we got what it takes here. They're going to pass it underneath, and that's going to be an easy completion. Okay, you know what? Maybe we do bring in a quick blitz and just watch Kelvin Hunter get toasted there. Nothing quick about that blitz at all. 2-point conversion. They're just going to hand it off, but they got some clean blocks. The game just changed so fast. It felt like we were in control, but we must have never really been. Andy Jean runs under it. Good start to this drive. If we do end up scoring, I have to decide on whether or not it is worth it to go for a 2-point conversion. I think that'd be a really dumb decision, but it'll really depend how much time's left when we do it. I just don't want to lose the game off of that. That's when it's really frustrating. Look at how they're shedding those blocks, though. No hole for us to run through, which means we're just going to scramble and get hit. I hate to bring out the direct snap again, but if this ball needs to be in anyone's hands, you know whose hands it needed to be in. They got to him, though. They stopped him short, and now Texas A&M is throwing the rock where we got beat twice. We got beat twice off the line of scrimmage. We'd really been playing defense like that all game, and just now, Texas A&M decides that they're going to be able to step up in those spots. Even worse, this is coming back because of a penalty after we just rushed for a 1st down. This is such a terrible way for this rivalry to end. Nobody is guarding Amarian Peterson, though. The best player in this game. I don't know if it's time to celebrate, man. I've decided I'm just going for the 2-point conversion now. I'm frustrated. I could tell that we could beat that coverage. If they decide that they're going to pass on any of these plays, though, we're probably not getting them off the field. The computer's gotten a lot smarter on this game, so I'm terrified to run commit, though that will seal it. We left way too big of a hole there in the middle, and their blocking is just really stepped up at the end of this game. Everything about them got so much better. Hit stick won't force a fumble. That's just going to end this one. We lost the rivalry. It's hard to be too upset because this is against the #1 team in the country. But this is a team we beat last year, and we just gave up 205 rushing yards. I can specifically remember myself saying, this is a team that doesn't give up many yards on the ground as well. Well, look what happened. Yes, we just got our first 5-star commit of the year to right guard. I'm kind of excited, but a lot more are coming on a visit this next week. That's where we will make or break this class, and losing to the Aggies might have just cost us a potential spot in the SEC championship unless they lose 2 more conference games. What we figured out last season was even though we're using the setting that's supposed to pick the teams with the best conference records, regardless of divisions, the best 2 for the conference championship, since I set up these divisions so we'd play all our rivalries in conference play, it just picks the highest team in each division either way. The setting just doesn't work. So currently, Texas A&M is going to have the tiebreaker over us, and they're a game ahead. It means the SEC championship could be a long shot. That was our one priority for this season as well. Just make it to the SEC championship. We might fail that goal now. Out of our control since we lost. But a lot could still change over the course of the year as well. This one will have nothing to do with the SEC championship. We're just playing Arkansas State for the 2nd time in school history. Amarian Peterson is in the Heisman race, by the way. And if he was ever going to pad his stats in a game, this would be the perfect opportunity for him to do that. It's the last easier team we have on our schedule this season. We're not faster than everybody, though. It's not like we're just going to outrun them for touchdowns, though. We are able to turn that corner with Williams, which puts us at the 15. Cameron Williams with a big carry. Blocks are not holding up. We haven't had to do much besides run the ball, though, and we're in. That felt a lot easier than how our game against Southern Miss started, so it's got me feeling a little bit better. They're coming out in hurry-up mode, though, playing this aggressively, bouncing off of our tackles, and getting a bigger run than they ever should have. It's 2nd and inches. They just hand it off again, and we've had no time to change up our defensive play calling because they're in hurry-up mode still. This is the most aggressive team we've ever faced before. They went for it on 4th and 3, getting 10, and I'm actually getting so irritated by the fact that they're staying in hurry-up mode. I don't know if I'm the only one that gets irritated by it, but I want to call defensive plays. I want to be able to change up my formation, change up the personnel that's out there on the field, think it through, but you can't do that when they're calling hurry-up mode every time. We really should have had an interception there as well. Thankfully, on 3rd and 12, All they could do is check it down, and the hit sticks quick enough. No field goal for them, though. You can see that they're coming out going for it again. We have everything guarded underneath. Way too much time, though. It's Arkansas State. If anything's going to hurt us in this game, it's me just getting frustrated. Can you stop calling plays immediately? Finally, they lose 4 yards, and now they're going to have to think it through. Not getting much here. So we'll see what they draw up on 3rd and 12. We knocked it out. I thought they caught that, honestly. They did all of it for a field goal. Hopefully, we can get some more great running blocks on this drive for Marion Peterson. Though, I'm going to be honest, pressing Courtney Crutchfield is a very bold decision. I don't think they're going to be able to stick on him, right? There's no way. He catches it. Finally, our star receiver is actually making star plays. We shouldn't have to wait until facing Arkansas State, but I'll take it. Tough 3rd and 13 to pick up, though. I can't believe they just caused us to lose yards twice there. We're going to have to beam this over to our tight end. And it looks like we are now going to get held to a field goal by the Red Wolves. We'll still have our 7-point lead. I'm sure we'll get our defensive stops. But what happened against Southern Miss is still haunting me and scaring me to this day. Surely not everybody on our schedule is just going to play us as close as they can. We're going to bring in some blitzes, see if they can pick it up. Oh, they're just going to spin out of the sack and rush for like 20, 25 yards? Great. To be fair, though, this is their Super Bowl. We rarely play them, and they're coming out hot. D'Angelo Cooks is literally cooking us on the ground. We got ran all over last week. We might get run all over this week as well, when we shouldn't. Big 3rd and goal here. I'm stuck on Jordan Crawford, but they just threw it away. It'd be nice if they shanked this kick or something. They're going to, but it snuck in. For a split second, I really thought that was going to go wide. Maybe we get a kick return against Arkansas State. They caught us. Anything that would make this matchup easier on us, not going our way. In fact, we're losing 3 yards. Marion Peterson comes out onto the field for this next carry, though, and this is what we were hoping for. 2 guys trying to track him down. We're not going to get around it, but that's the big gain that we needed. We're going to set our feet and miss. Malachi Nelson does not want to throw for any touchdowns. He just wants to hand this football off and let us go to work. Really. Marion Peterson doesn't fumble all season, but Arkansas State is the team that's just going to force a fumble out of it. They're going to throw everything at us and make this as hard as they can for us to take down the Red Wolves. They're already at midfield. We should be the team that's rattling them, but meanwhile, I'm sitting here rattled inside our own stadium. They're about to hand it off here, and they just have a massive running lane. It certainly does not feel like we're playing against Arkansas State. Every game just seems like it's going to be a trap game for us if it's not against a highly ranked opponent. Every win, we're going to have to fight extremely hard to earn this season, and he's going to scramble. Or he's just going to float it up to the corner. Where they catch that? No, he dropped it. I'm not so sure about that call. It looks like he brought that in, but you know what? If they're going to kick a field goal, if they're not going to challenge it, we're not going to question it. I feel like it's time for a big run out of Marion Peterson, though. That'd be the best way for us to end this first half, especially after his fumble. Whenever I start forcing it, though, I never have success. Knowing that he's in the Heisman race now, he's probably going to have a terrible rest of this season. But hang on. Everyone is stacked in to this tight formation, and this is going to lead to a massive hole for him. I think he's gone. There's a kid trying to track him down, but way too far over there on the right side. We finally just parted the Red Sea, basically, through that defensive line, and you have nothing. Tavian Wallace is going to bring you down. It looks like they're just going to look around at their tight end, and he wasn't open, but guess what? Their quarterback is quick. We either got to start putting quarterback contains on Rashawn Coleman, or we just have to not let them get 10 seconds back there. It's like our defensive line's just not shown up for work today. Not sure what's up with that. We're not getting split. Good thing Arkansas State has come back down to earth, and this kid's not that accurate, because if he was, I would be extremely upset. They are at the 20. For all we know, Arkansas State's about to end this first half, being able to tie things back up. We get the sack. Jordan Crawford makes the play. Only 30 seconds left in the half now. We could hold them to their 4th field goal of this first half. All they have is a bunch of checkdowns that they can take here. The best part is with no timeouts left, they're coming out and throwing the rock here, and they're going to take a check down. They might not get off another snap. There's definitely going to be some clock run off by the time they get their kicking unit out there. So going into halftime, we have an 8-point lead, and I'm hoping we can build on it. Marion Peterson already rushed for 160 yards. Our stadium pulse is coming out strong to open up this third quarter. It's finally getting to the level that it should have been this entire time. I think we're going to send a blitz on 3rd down as well. Are we seriously getting cooked this bad by Arkansas State receivers? Never mind. Never mind. Whole game just tied up. No intensity or anything from the crowd. It doesn't make a difference. I was trying to shade over top, but I guess I could not get it out in time. Are you kidding? This is insane. There's no reason Arkansas State should be able to keep this one close. I don't care how bad we're playing. We have such a better team on paper. Oh, why are we trying to outrun them backwards? There's no composure over here. I'm in shambles. I'm in legitimate shambles. We're going to playmaker. And he didn't run where he was supposed to. That should have been picked. It was an awful play in the first place. You would never see that, basically. So we'll just punt it back to them, and let's hope our defense doesn't get beat. They're going to go with a handoff first play. We hit them in the backfield. They don't care. They're going to stay in hurry-up mode because they know it's messing with our composure, and we've gotten beat again. I can't even tell if AD's a receiver or a tight end. He's been lined up at both positions. But it's looking like Arkansas State is about to take the lead, throw it at us. Of course they make the right one. I'm going to start seeing Rashawn Coleman into my nightmares tonight. I'm going to see this kid as well. Alicia Durham's got it like that. He's been impossible for us to stop. We're trying to run commit and get some guys out there. But I just know on 3rd and goal, they're going to find a way to get into the end zone here. Thankfully, they didn't. Well, this is an interesting move. They've decided to throw it, and I didn't guard the one player they keep giving the ball to, Alicia Durham. I think he's got like 12 catches at this point. What are we doing? We just got sucked to the outside when there was a gaping hole up the middle. This is going to be caught. But we're on a 3rd and 4. We might have to punt it back to Arkansas State either way if we can't catch this. They're going to be sitting out here in cover 3 as well. So we just got out a quick throw. I was just waiting for Marion Peterson to come back out there on the field so we could give him a carry. And he has a chance to go all the way and tie things back up at 24. His Heisman performance is still going on. The rest of this team, though, has me wondering how we're still sitting at 4-1 in the first place. 2nd and 7, I bid on the play action, and they just always have somebody that's popping out. They always seem to have a counter to whatever we're giving them, though we could have knocked that ball loose. Are you kidding me? He catches another ball? I think I've decided who our #1 target's going to be in the transfer portal this year. We'll just have to hope that Alicia Durham does not stay with Arkansas State. Tavian Wallace is all over that. He's going to get the interception, but brought down at the same time. Who cares, though? That's all we wanted. We got the ball back, and we're going for another tutty. Maybe Malachi Nelson can keep it with the read option and get a big gain, or he can fumble it straight back to them. I can't believe it went out of bounds before they picked that up. We need to fight for the first. All right, well, it is 4th and 3. We're going to hand this ball off and go for a hurdle. I didn't think he had that in him, but I just had to take a chance. We also got play action coming out on this one. We're going to try and thread that needle. But then it hit me. Why are we not just pounding it on the ground like we should be? We're overcomplicating things for no reason. It's 4th and 6. We have to kick a field goal. They sniffed that play out perfectly, and they're going to have a chance to go down the field and take a lead with the tutty. This is absolutely my least favorite game we've played all season, but we snag another interception. All of a sudden, things are looking good for us. And you know what I'm going to do? This is so cheesy. Come on in, Marion Peterson. You know that you want to get a touchdown run here. Maybe you don't, but I want to give it to you 4 straight times anyway. We want to get this kid as much love as possible. He was willing to transfer here, give us a chance. Now we want to prop up his chance at the Heisman. If him and Jameer Scott weren't best friends, then running out at the 1-yard line wouldn't make as much sense. But guess what? Jameer Scott is a great friend, and I think they're going to test us here. Of all the reads, that's the one they made. Interesting. It feels like now that we have a 10-point lead, Arkansas State's just in some shambles. They're going to take the sack. And Marion Peterson is going to get some more carries, opportunities for him to get even more yards. When he's out, maybe Malachi Nelson can sling the rock a little bit. He's going to hook up with Andy Jean. And I can just tell that they are about to send as many guys as they can at Peterson's way. They don't want him to score another touchdown, but they don't have a choice. He's still going to find a way in. We ended up closing out this game, not allowing them to ever score again. And this right here is a Heisman performance. Malachi Nelson has very quietly set the career passing yard record at Arkansas, though. Until I realized something. I forgot this was a bug in the game. For whatever reason, it's calculating some of his stats while he was with UTEP into that equation. He does not have 8,000 passing yards with the Razorbacks. I was about to say, that doesn't even make any sense at all. So we'll just have to ignore that record. We've gotten a 4-star receiver to commit. I want to see the 5 stars that were on a visit committing, though, and not a single one did. If we look at the Heisman watch, though, besides Texas A&M's running back being up there because he obliterated us, it is a Marion Peterson sitting at 2nd place It's the rushing touchdowns that he's got to catch up on. And even if we didn't get commits out of those visits, it definitely made a difference in some of these battles. For the guys we're falling down the second place on, though, it's a lost hope. I also need to realize that since we only have 10 seniors on this team, we don't need to sign a massive class this season, even though I still want to. So I'll go after a few more offensive linemen and see if we can get them over to Arkansas. But outside of that, the guys on our board are the last high schoolers that are going to be on there. As we look at our final 6 games, we still got to play at Death Valley against number 9 LSU. Texas is ranked at number 17. Ole Miss on the road, number 15. We have plenty of difficult games coming up, and we're currently sitting down at 7th place in the SEC. Our conference is just insane. We knew it was going to be that way when we started this rebuild. We're about to face off against a school that has a higher overall roster than us. LSU is a 97, and it's time for the battle for the Golden Boot. Just seeing this visual alone, I am not looking forward to it. There's rain coming down. LSU's offense has to be miles ahead of Arkansas State's, and they are going to go with not a halfback draw. They had a pass play drawn up for 30. They have that one really good quarterback, too, from California that has the Hawaiian name that I would completely butcher if I said it. He's transferred there. He might even be a super senior at this point, so he's just going to be a pain for us to stop through the air. Then I thought a little bit harder, though, and things could be worse for us. What if we were facing 2019 LSU? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, all those guys just shredding us. Things could be worse. At least currently, it seems like we could really hold them to a field goal. They're going to be able to scramble for it, though. The lefty gets it. Jaron Kiwawa Sagapaludi. That can't be correct. But that is the attempted name of the quarterback that is going to be a problem. I decided on 3rd down, we might as well just get a quarterback spy out there for him. There's someone wide open over the middle, and the spy was a great choice. You got nowhere to go. Took them half the first quarter to only score 3. But it might take us only 3 plays to have to punt it straight back to them, so we need to be careful. There is no room for 3 and outs against LSU. We don't even have our star running back in for the first play. But he's coming, and he's going to get some decent looks. Maybe not there, but at some point in this game, there will be space for him to just run through, and we'll take the first. I'm not sure how well halfback stretches are going to do against LSU versus other runs. They were money against Arkansas State, but this is a much better defense. And since all we've done is run so far, I think it's going to be pretty easy to get them to bite underneath on the play action. Nope, they didn't bite. It's 3rd and 22. We might as well just throw it up and pray for the best, because we're not going to get this unless Malachi Nelson is able to outrun everyone. He's at least given us the hope to go for it here. We can't get Micah Tees on the route that we want, though, which means we're just going to have to hit our drag. Are you kidding me? This defensive lineman needs to be in the NBA. What is this vertical out of a 300-pounder? Like, seriously, what are the odds that he gets up and just gets a finger on that ball? Malachi Nelson even threw it super light. It wasn't a bullet pass, so we could just run straight under the ball. But we just couldn't get over his hands. It makes it 3rd and 12. End of the first quarter. They're lasering us. That's how you beat cover 3. They had the perfect setup for it. That hurts. That hurts a lot to see. Maybe we'll get an interception here, but there were just too many guys open on the left side. So LSU moves the chains, and he's going to have the smart decision of just trying to scramble or throw it last second to the end zone. Feels bad right now to be a fan of Arkansas football. What are we doing? How many times am I going to have to learn that we just can't throw that up? I don't care how open it looks. It's just not there. And I can assume on 3rd and 3, they're probably going to stop the run. We just have to keep doing it. They're coming out so aggressive, but Amarian Peterson is still our only hope. He's getting stuff done, too. That's the most impressive part. We're just going to get out a quick throw over to Bobo. Jeff Bobo's the backup tight end that I want to see out there on the field. Halfback base gets in our way. It's okay, though. You know who's come to save the day. It is Amarian Peterson who cuts and gets 20. Now that he's not out there for a play, we'll let Malachi Nelson just throw it underneath really quick. All of that for 1 yard. Let's get it back to Amarian. Come on. Be patient. Get us the first down. Well, it's 3rd and short, actually. That's not an inside zone. We shouldn't have gotten held up there. I just didn't know what the play was. If we can actually get it to inside zone, we have the room to run. So here we go. We'll hand it off. And that was easy. It was so easy. I'm not sure what LSU's thinking here. It doesn't make sense to me. You know he's getting it in a short yardage situation. That was a great response to their last drive, though, where they had a lot of incredible plays on it. We're going to need one from our defense, which we got on the ground, but they still got around it. Tavian Wallace was like tucking on his shoelace, just trying to make the tackle and slow him down. On 3rd and 9, we're going with man-to-man coverage because they've liked to go with 4 verticals in these spots. That was an interesting read in that situation. No room to run the ball there, though. We just got out of that pressure, and we're going to set our feet, come back to the ball, or not put our hands up. Great job, Micah Tees. It wasn't a great throw from Malachi Nelson either. It's just so frustrating. We let the small stuff get to us, and then it affects how we perform the rest of this day. I think we can get them off the field here on 3rd and 2, though. They're sending it deep. We're swatting the ball, but I guess they're not taking their field goal. They're going to go for it on 4th and 2. We know the run's coming, and we're all over it. Okay, with 30 seconds left in the first half, it should be very manageable to get into field goal range. Maybe I'm thinking too highly of this offense, though. We're going to dance back there with Malachi Nelson and have to throw it away or fumble. It's been a very rough ending to the half for this offense. Genuinely, not even sure what we're doing at this point. He's going to take another sack. Let's just get our offense back to what we do best, letting Amarian Peterson run. Anything other than that has been a disaster in this game. The counter is going to be open, though. Amarian Peterson finds the hole. He is unfortunately going to get caught. But man, when the blocking is working, these counters are so good. When Cameron Williams comes in to run this ball, though, you can just see how different of a game it is. It's like not even the same at all. Malachi Nelson's going to get into the end zone. We just went BTA on the first drive against the Tigers, and we should have a pick. In fact, it bugs me that we even gave up 3 yards there. They shouldn't have been able to make that catch, but I guess it's better than giving up a 30-yard one. New set of downs for LSU. They quickly get the ball out, and a handoff would make a lot of sense with the numbers that they have in this spot. They're going to keep it with the option, though, and I think it's time for a hit stick. Fumble, fumble, that's what we wanted. Scoop it up, we got it back. I have been trying to nail dudes this entire video, and finally, a quarterback fumbles on his run. You can see how tired Amarian Peterson is, though. We are going to have to resort to throwing the ball at some point in this game, which worked. Double coverage on Andy Jean, too. He is such a great piece on this roster that's not a superstar. He's just consistent for us. There's not much more that you can ask for out of him. Big 3rd and 3, though. I know who we want to get this ball out to. It's Courtney Crutchfield. In fact, since Amarian Peterson seems to not be coming back into the game for this drive, I think it's worth it just to start slinging it a bit more. Maybe not, though. Their coverage is actually really good, and we're going to shoot up that hole. I still think we're in good hands in the future with Cameron Williams. But how you know our running backs are starting to get worn out is the fact that Flanagan's come into the game. Bo Flanagan's one of the true freshmen that we've recruited last season. It doesn't make me feel great to see him out there on the field. Look at how we are just dominating this one on the ground at the moment, though. That was bad. Malachi Nelson just trying to throw away the game. For no reason. We're going to hit our drag and not catch it. So we got a white meter. It's going to be a hard kick for Josh Neiman to nail. But I trust him, and that is why. With a minute left in this 3rd quarter, 7-point lead is something I will definitely take. I also felt like we were going to get a sack there. It feels like when we go with man-to-man coverage, that's when we're playing best. We've got to switch stuff up for 3rd and 12, though. They don't have the seam. They're going with a deep shot. Can we get back to this with Scott? No. I was going for the SWAT and everything. Welcome to college football, though. That is how the 3rd quarter is going to end. It is what it is. Keeping it on the option. We could go for another fumble. In fact, I'm starting to wonder if I should just turn on harder hits for this team. Not going to matter if they're about to get in. We can run commit. We can do it all. But in reality, LSU will probably still score. They only need a few yards. But look at this. Good holds from our D. I'm prepared for them to drop back on 3rd and goal. So when they run it, it puts us in a rougher spot. But I guess it worked. 4th and goal now. Are they going to get out a quick read? We got all that locked. We had a quarterback spy out there, and we're going to catch him in time. He's short. He's short. You know what I don't like, though? Being on the 2-yard line. This is very scary. We needed it. Cameron Williams is going to have to save the day for us. Amarian Peterson is still missing. And the craziest part is I feel like we didn't feed him that much in this game for him to be out as long as he has been. I'm afraid we're going to find out at a later time that he's injured or something. Taking the quick drag to Micah Tees has paid off. He almost broke free. And we are a couple first downs away from ending it. To do it, though, we're going to need a big run. And I think it's time for Malachi Nelson to go for it. He gets close. You know what? We're going to draw up the same play that we did the last time we got on 3rd down. If they let us get Micah Tees on a drag. I don't think that they did, but we're still going to have one open. They punched it loose. There's just no way. LSU has found a way to stay in this game, and we're punting it back. That hurts for sure. Can we get out to the flat, though, and guard the running back? They didn't throw it to him. I'm not going to sit here and act like our coverage on him was supreme either. It was pretty rough. That is how you toast man to man. I'm afraid that if we go with anything else, though, they're just going to pick that apart as well. They have someone open over there. Sneaky running back. You know what? Let's bring a blitz, and let's see what we can do with it. He breaks the first tackle. That really hurts to see. Quick reads, though, aren't there. They keep on dumping it off to this kid. You have to wonder, how many times am I just going to leave him open? They don't have a read. They don't have a read. Come on. Throw it to us. It's out of bounds. Jaron is making it very hard to bring him down. Multiple guys open here. But look at the spot of that ball. It's 4th and inches. And they just beat us off of the line. Great play. We got aggressive. I have to give them credit. We're going to have 36 seconds to respond. For a game that we were so close to being able to end, this has turned into a little bit of a nightmare for us. Not a good start to the drive. How we do, though, will really depend how they guard this next play, which was dropped. It just hit me. If we don't pick this up, then they'll have their chance to respond back. We got it, though. 20 seconds left on the clock. It's time for Malachi Nelson to step up and be that game-winning quarterback. What we're going to do on this play is roll out and try and hit our corner route, though if we could go out of bounds, that'd be even better. Now, you might think you've set yourself up for a game-winning field goal. I want to get Crutchfield on a slant, though. Looks like he's going to be on an in route. That was not the play there. We're trying to get a couple extra yards, though. We got to go down. We got to go down. LSU does not have the timeouts to ice us. It's a 50-yard kick for the win at Death Valley. Toughest place to play in the country right now. And Josh Neiman, it's short. That's going to be short, isn't it? Was it in? It was in! I can't believe that made it. That was like the weakest kick we've ever seen, but we're taking home the golden boot. It was another stressful result. Not a Heisman performance from a Marion. But you know what? He's dealing with wear and tear issues anyway. We're going to steal a Louisiana recruit by beating LSU. He's decided Arkansas is the better place to play. There are still 10 players that want to transfer out, though. That is not changing, even with our success. And I think it's time that we back out on this 5-star free safety. We've fallen down to 3rd place. Ohio State's going to get this tight end. I don't want to see us lose out on these prospects. I know that we're not going to win them, so I'd rather just remove them from our board before I get sad. I also found out that Stephen Waltz is a bust, so he's been removed off of our board. We're just trying to make this class a little bit smaller. That's because I'm sure there's going to be transfers we're going to want in the offseason. And let's head on the road, going over to Starksville to play against 71 overall Mississippi State. The Cowbells are already slightly getting on my nerves. It's only going to get worse throughout the entire game. And I know after last season that we can't sleep on the Bulldogs. It doesn't matter if they're low overall, but are we going to get our first kick return of the season? Brown gets caught. Who cares, though? We're starting our drive on the 33. We're going to be facing off against linebacker Darren Gullett, though. And if you remember last year, he gave us so many problems. I did not enjoy facing him. He's already got himself a tackle. Cameron Williams is out there on the field because Marion Peterson is dealing with a lot of wear and tear. We might even get held to a field goal on this first drive. Or a pick. Or a pick. We don't even get 3 points. I can't even say I'm surprised. Mississippi State already has things going their way. I mean, Luke Cohenhoke just threw that perfectly over our heads so we couldn't pick it. They're having no problems making progress, getting down the field. They dropped that one. But now they're just going to go out quick, and we make the tackle. This is a big 3rd and 10. I really hate how they're spacing out our defense because they're going to be able to take a shot down the field that we can't get back to. It has taken no time at all, and we're already running into the pain of playing the Bulldogs. Marion Peterson's going to barely be out there either, so we're going to be on a 3rd and 13. I'm surprised he's even in for this play. He's been so tired that we've had to lean on throwing it more. We can't just feed him the ball 20 times in this game because he's not going to be able to do anything. He has an increased chance of injury, though he's going to hit that gap and get all the way to the 40. That'll quiet down this crowd for a little bit. Now we're going to hit him with play action, and we're just not open. The fact that we're not getting any separation is gross. You know, I might just move Courtney Crutchfield to the slot and see if he's better off there. I doubt he's about to dust 2 players on the same play and then catch it. For a 91 overall receiver, he is just no good. We're rolling out with Malachi Nelson on 3rd and 10 so we can scramble. And let's go back to the ground where Marion gets us 3. Currently, it's not like he's any slower or anything. The wear and tear effects are pretty minimal, but we know it's just going to pick up throughout this game. 3rd and 8 underneath. It is on him to make sure we continue to move the chains. And this has been a really solid response to what Mississippi State did. Andy Jean hangs on, and it is all 7-7. That was actually a really good drive out of us. But what are we going to do defensively? Ideally, not giving up a bunch of underneath throws like that one right there. But Mississippi State's able to throw for the first. And Luke Cromanhoke is just out of there. He's gone. He is gone. I told you, this was a team to be terrified of. For whatever reason, they end up playing us extremely well. I'm trying to playmaker so we can get a bigger gain. Micah T's hands on. But I think we should just return to handing it off and getting caught. You know, we might as well take a deep shot. We rarely take many of those throughout this season, and he didn't see the ball. All right, this game might just be a shootout. We're currently on pace to combine for over 100 points between the two of us. They aren't losing it. And we gotta send in some pressure or else they're just gonna run all over us. But we're not doing well there either. The blitz did not get in. That tackle did. And Tavion Wallace is going to have to make the hit on this one, or he's just going to slip out of there for a first. Somehow, nobody realized that he kept the football there. And Luke Kromenhoek is going to keep it again this time. Plenty of space to run. Well, if it's going to be a shootout, that's exactly what we expected. Malachi Nelson throws this one up with a dude in his face. He could not connect with Micah T's, though, and I was trying to pull it. This is where we just get stopped for the first time. They're going to send in a blitz, and we're going to have enough time to hit Courtney Crutchfield on the drag. We might be able to beat them deep, though, with another really big play. Or we can just look over the middle of the field and find freshman Zach Forrest. I actually really like having him out there right now. Remember, the kid is 6'4", so we might just send one up to the end zone. We broke the sack to get this off. We're clearly not doing a fantastic job whenever it comes to running the football, but we did there. Here we go. 3rd and 4 for Marion Peterson. Straight up the gut. That's going to be easy. And now we go with another play action. We're going to roll out, and I think we're going to get a big gain. I can't believe how well Malachi Nelson just threw that. He placed it perfectly. We're going to run in with Cameron Williams. And at some point, somebody is going to start getting defensive stops, though we need to change our read option settings. He keeps on getting these huge lanes to just keep the rock. Now they're coming out in 5 wide. They immediately beat us with some of that press. There's just no way Luke Kromenhoek gets out of that. Maybe I'm not remembering from playing them last season, but I feel like he wasn't that quick. I knew he was a problem. I knew he did better than we thought that he was going to do. So did the Bulldogs. But he is currently playing like the toughest quarterback we've had to stop all season, and they complete another. I've seen enough. We're sending in 7. Let's get the blitz, or we'll give them enough time to have the out route. Clearly, we're just not meant to get a stop in this game, though a red zone hold would be nice. I'm not going to risk run committing, which didn't matter, though maybe we should right here as they have the lane. Well, with a minute left in this first half, I'm going to try and get a big run first. That didn't really work, and they have been able to get in some instant pressure, but Malachi Nelson still makes a play to Courtney Crutchfield. Defense continues to be non-existent for both of these programs. It's not just us. I know we threw an interception early on, and that was almost deflected into an interception, but ever since that moment, it has been an offensive game. We still have 29 seconds to reach the end zone, and this should be a good throw over there. Maybe not. Malachi Nelson misses the target. We're going to hit our drag, pick up the first down, and run back the exact same play so we can get this snap off quick enough. Once again, Courtney Crutchfield is open, and this time, he's going to go to the 2. Well, we have a couple timeouts, so I feel comfortable just handing this ball off. And I'm hoping here in the second half, we can look a little bit better on the defensive side. It's so hard to stop them, though, when they just sit out there in hurry-up mode, and nobody seems to be good enough to make a tackle against Mississippi State. These road games in the SEC are such a trap for us. They had an open receiver here. There's a flag. I knew they had a little bit too long back there in the pocket, so they didn't get anything. But it really doesn't matter. Even if it's 1st and 20, I don't feel comfortable. I'm sure we'll find a way to give up a touchdown anyway. I can't believe that we've even played this well offensively either. There's been other weeks this season where this would have already been over if we gave up 35 points. Big 3rd and 4 for us. We're going to immediately throw it over to Marion Peterson. And I can't believe he held onto that football. He shouldn't have held on to that football. Now he's caught. 2nd and 11. We're just going to wait for Courtney Crutchfield to cut to the inside. Their man-to-man coverage really doesn't scare me that much because these guys aren't that good. I do not like seeing drops, though. They sniffed out the run well. It's Darren Gullett at the end of it. 3rd and 13. Cover 3 potentially. And they should have gotten a hand there. Malachi Nelson thinks he can just place the ball anywhere. We're going to have to hit a very, very long kick. But it's going to go in. I mean, we got a full power bar. Question is, are we going to pick up a defensive stop? Even one stop. That's really all I'm asking for right now. I think we have some solid coverage out here. We're just going to need to wrap up, make it 3rd and 13. And we better not give up anything deep to the seam like we did last time. There we go. We finally held the Bulldogs. Now we're getting the football back, and we're going to be at the 42. First play of this drive is just going to be a read option that Malachi Nelson fumbles away. I have no words. We can't really blame him for losing us this game either because it's been our defense giving up 35. Yes, he is an interception. Yes, he is a fumble now, but he still played pretty well. I think this is just what we're going to have to rock with and guard the flat with our life. Running back's not open. We can knock that out. No, no, no. I can't do this. I just... Are you kidding me? I've seen it all. I've seen it all. Hope is gone. Malachi Nelson, if you hit this throw, we're going to get right back in it, I guess. Micah Tease is having a very good day, but like, we just gave up a touchdown when we should have never. It could have been a pick, if anything. We're going for the 2-point conversion as well. I think that throw is going to be dropped. So we're back on the defensive side of things where I'm not sure if we're even going to make a tackle. Let's see what look they give us on 2nd and 8. It's a handoff. We're there. We can realistically get them off of the field, especially since they only have 3 routes out there. Perfect. All we need to do now is not fumble it on offense. Courtney Crutchfield had a great return. We're putting up more points in this game than we've put up in any other. Micah Tease might be able to beat the press over there as well. I see the one-on-one coverage. I don't love this as a read, but I'm trusting him, and that was a good hit. Either way, I believe this is 4-down territory. We were going to go for it no matter what. Clearly, we need to get that ball out a little bit quicker, which is why I've rolled out on this play. And that's PI. That is PI. You can't just obstruct him running mid-route, stop him from getting any momentum, and then get away with it like that. They held their whistle in. Wait, pick it up. Pick it up. No. I feel like I'm getting cheated in this game. I do. I do. We have 1 quarter to figure things out. At some point, they are going to pick up on the fact that we have been running the exact same defense for quite a while now against them. Luke Kromenhoek has 300 yards and 5 touchdowns, by the way. They just always make the right read. Their offense takes up the entire field too, so it's so hard to see. We could still hold them to a field goal here, though. It's going to be 3rd and 2. I'm really hoping that if we guard underneath, we're fine. What are we doing? That was not the defense we were supposed to be running there. I'm hitting them with play action. Once again, they must have been in match coverage because Micah Tease is gone, but we're not going to stop him. I'm going to chase points too, even though this makes absolutely 0 sense from a football perspective. I'm really just frustrated. I figure we could let them get into field goal range and then we'd only need 7 instead of 8. But if we didn't pick that up, it'd be bad. On 2nd and 10, whenever they start going with this spread offense, that's when we really struggle to stop them. Clearly, as they're going to run all the way to the 40. I simply just don't have an answer for that formation. And look at where they're at already. They are already inside the 10. It's over. Mississippi State is just going to keep on scoring. Look at how well they're playing against us. We're getting bailed out by a penalty flag here. We have got to somehow hold them to a field goal. I don't even know if I can trust that holding call to really make a difference, though. They're already back inside the 10. 2nd and goal. They got the bubble out there, and Noah King just misses. He fully misses. So here we go. It's 3rd and goal. We're run committing up the middle. And we held them back. We held them back. Okay, we took a chance. They're up to 52 points. But we have Amarian Peterson back out there on the field. And he's going to bust off a big run for us here. I've really liked Micah Tease on this play as well. Wherever we draw them down and we see if we can hit them for a huge gain. This has easily been our biggest offensive game so far this year. Malachi Nelson is at almost 500 passing yards. And Andy Jean might just help him get there. All right, we're going to stay through the air. Easiest throw in the world. You know what's going to happen, though. Our blocks aren't working either. So here we go. It's 3rd and goal. Jaden Platt just got held up completely. But nobody seems to care. Pass interference just is never a call in this game. Here we go. 4th down. We're throwing the slant. Are you kidding? To be fair, it wasn't a good throw. But he just glides. Still doesn't get a hand on the ball. And we have to somehow get Mississippi State off of the field in the next few plays. I didn't even call a timeout for whatever reason. If they decide to throw this ball, we're in trouble. What? They didn't snap it. So they just took a 5-yard loss. That's weird. This is the formation that I just can't stop, though. And they threw it. They threw it. Good hit. All right, it's 3rd and 2. We sent in a blitz. And we tried to knock it out. We didn't knock it out, though, even though we went for inside leverage, so we lost. Every game in SEC play is hard. It's going to drop our championship contender down to a B. That might start to affect some of the prospects we're recruiting. We also still have to finish out the year with games against 2 top 10 programs. We got to look at some of these stats. Malachi Nelson did not hit his 500 passing yard total. Running the ball just was non-existent in this game. Mississippi State had a little bit. But Luke Kromenhoek What a performance out of this kid. Marion Peterson was non-existent basically, with only 57 rushing yards. But maybe he needed a game to heal up himself a little bit. Either way, we're not going to get the 5-star right tackle. He's going to Ohio State. And then Oklahoma took away this 5-star linebacker. This is the rest of our board here. We currently are sitting with 3 5-star commits. RJ Harris, Quentin Osborne, and Taylor Bromell. It seems like we're going to pick up right tackle Shakir Doss, so that'd bring that total up to 4. And then Darren Friday is on a visit in week 10. That visit is against number 8, 7-1 Texas. A game that we have got to win no matter what. If we look at where we're sitting inside our division, seems like a conference championship isn't that likely, though if we beat the Longhorns and Ole Miss, we just need Texas to lose again. We could still get the tiebreaker. You saw how we just played though. It's currently looking like we're just going to ruin the rest of our season, so we got to avoid that collapse. Starting on offense in this matchup, Marion Peterson is the featured player, of course, but he's not even out there on the field for this first snap. That's going to be a big gain for Cameron Williams as he's still on his feet. That's a solid opening play from him. Now we're going to hit Jaden Platt and get another 7. I'm liking the way that things are looking off the rip. 3rd and 2, though. Texas could stop us, and they went with some man-to-man coverage. We don't always get open versus it. I'm glad that we did there. And they're guarding our RPO pretty well, so it's about to be 3rd and 3. We've kept everything quick. We've kept everything underneath so far. We didn't get that ball out in time, though, which has made it 4th down. And I bet we drop this. We don't. Okay, this drive stays on the field. Andy Jean coming up clutch for us. Nice hole for Cameron Williams, too. It's kind of remarkable to me that he was only able to get 4 yards. 3rd and 4. We've been here before. We're going to be here again. No problems on this play. Just rolling out with Malachi Nelson and picking up a lot on the ground as he finds his way into the end zone. What an ending to that drive. But you would know from the last game, it's not our offense that was the real issue. It's this defense. Ryan Wingo is somehow still in college, so I know he's going to be a pain to play against, but we forced a fumble and we scooped it up. Jameer Scott noticed it was just sitting next to him on the ground, and he's like, all right, we'll take it. The sophomore corner had quite the play there. Marion Peterson is going to get quite the hole here. And look at Texas in a bad spot. I know it's still super early in this game. A lot can change. We could blow a lead, even if we do go up 14-0. But the way they got like 30 yards on that first play, I was already nervous for our defense. The fact that we got that stop just has me feeling amazing, though we threw it right back to them. We threw it right back. We should have kept things on the ground and not let Malachi Nelson throw. I don't care how many yards he had through the air last week. He is clearly still struggling, though we get the sack. 3rd and 17 definitely stresses me out. As long as they take a short throw, though, we're going to be all right. Michael Hawkins Jr. was not a problem for us last season. And to make things even better, they're hitting Wardell Mack with a kick-catch interference. We can still finish this first quarter strong. Even after that interception, we're still in the better spot in this game. But it's quickly become 3rd and 8, where Jaden Platt is not that open, and he still catches it. He had the inside leverage, and we were able to make the secure catch with him, though. That's what we wanted. We're just going to mix in a slant on this play. Courtney Crutchfield is not open, but he hangs on, putting us just 2 yards away from the end zone, and it's about to be 14-0. I'm sure at some point, though, they're going to come out a lot stronger on the offensive side of things, breaking multiple tackles. They're just going to pick up the first down on the ground here, and Michael Hawkins Jr. gets them even more. When we were able to just get a free rush in, though, and force a fumble, that was our best defensive play. I might try and pull something off like that again at some point in this game. It just wouldn't make sense on 3rd and 8, where we can pump up the crowd. No one's open. There we go. All they could do was just punt it back to us. Longhorns are struggling. And I love the numbers game here. Andy Jean is going to be wide open to get us the first down. If we're intelligent about how we end this first half, we should easily be up by 2 possessions, maybe even 3. Malachi Nelson goes out. He puts us in field goal range, so getting points out of this drive just became a lot easier. We still need about 24 more yards, though, and we might have taken too much time off of the clock. I was really just trying to prevent Texas getting this back before the end of the first half, and then being able to score themselves. On 3rd down, Marion Peterson sees the hole, and he's in. Well, it's going to be interesting to see if Texas is aggressive or passive here. They just handed it off, but they've exploded. They've exploded out of there, and Noah King doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the speed. It's 21-7. We legitimately had a perfect first half until James Simon just ruined it. Malachi Nelson is going to break their attempt at getting a sack there, but he's probably just thrown an interception. I'm curious what's going to happen if we decline this penalty based on where he caught it. Of course, that just sent it to halftime, but we can accept it instead. And we will take our chance at getting into the end zone with a Hail Mary. That's going to be far enough. The question is, can anybody come down with it? You know, that ending to the first half really bugged me. We had played so well. It almost feels like giving up a touchdown there just takes away everything that we've done. Then again, we're still screaming in. 3rd and 20. Surely we're not going to give this one up. They just throw up a 50-50 ball. This is our chance to swat it. We got it. Ever since I've been doing that instead of just trying to grab the interception, it has made a major difference. We also are set up for Courtney Crutchfield to get his biggest return of the season as he's in the end zone. We're up 28-7. Who cares we gave up that touchdown? All of a sudden, things are starting to feel right for Arkansas football. Yes, I obviously wish that I was able to play better against Mississippi State, but we're figuring things out. And on 3rd and 5, we know they're not going to run the football here. We just got to watch underneath. Cover 2 kind of worked until they had the wheel. I'm testing out some new types of coverage as well. They sold me on the play action. That's a good 20-yard gain. But you just got to trust this in the long run, though we are leaving that left side of the field wide open. The first big defensive play we made in this game was because we were so aggressive with one of those cover 4 quarters. So I don't mind sending some strong safety blitzes or some corner blitzes. There it is, back within 14 points. Texas is not completely out of this game yet. That'll help. Still plenty of time remaining, though. Amarian Peterson getting another solid run here, and his jukes have gotten better. We might pull this one with Malachi Nelson just based off of who's out there on the field. It didn't really go that well for us, though, and I already know this is going to be off target. They almost had it. 3rd and 12. Micah Tease is not going to get off of that press, so we're going to have to go elsewhere. Jaden Platt comes to the football, and on this play, I think we could get Micah Tease deep. It depends if they go with man-to-man coverage or not. We are going to have a wide open Jaden Platt again. He goes for the hurdle. That sets up a Marion Peterson time. 3 straight carries. If he gets into the end zone, it's great. If he doesn't, we kick our field goal. We go up by 17 points. No questions asked. We just can't risk blowing our lead in this game. That would be heartbreaking. That'd send us into a spiral the rest of the year. Look at us, though, having some good gang tackles. It's about to be 3rd and 10. Well, it should have been, but you know what happens in those situations. 3rd and 6. They're going to get this throw out and come back to the football. That was just a prayer that they chucked up and got super lucky on. It is so weird to me, though, that they are not playing like a top 8 team. Mississippi State played us so much better. I know we're at home this time, and we knew this was like a must-win matchup, so that does factor into it a little bit. But Texas has still let down their fans a lot in this matchup, and the drive stays alive. It's fine, though. The longer this takes, the less of a chance they have at coming back in this game. I guess that's why they just broke off a big run. They saw they didn't have much of a chance to still come back, and Jaden Platt continues to bring balls in. I think he's accounted for like half of Malachi Nelson's receiving yards in this game. Not going to get very much here, but the point of that play call was to keep the clock moving. 3rd down is going to be coming up, or it's not. It's starting to just seem like we're going to be able to end this one against the Longhorns on this drive. They're starting to use their timeouts, and it's going to be 3rd and 4. This is the same play we threw an interception on earlier on in this game, which is why I went over to the flat this time. We didn't get it, though. 4th and 5, Malachi Nelson. Guess who's going to be able to use his legs on the ground and seal this one for us? We ended up just running out the rest of the clock, winning 35-21. And Amarian Peterson finished with 100 yards on 18 carries. That win has resulted in Darren Friday, the 5-star linebacker, committing. It seems like he's the only player that did. But I think Shakir Doss will next week. There's just been no competition on the right tackle out of Colorado. And for these other battles, we're probably going to win those too. Our recruiting class is currently shaping up really nice before we even get to the transfer portal period. You're also going to see that currently in the SEC West standings, we're sitting at 3rd place. We're about to play Ole Miss. Texas still up there at number 1. They lost to Michigan this season and they lost to us. But outside of that, their schedule has not been that bad besides playing Texas A&M. They could easily drop a game against the Rebels with how they're performing. I didn't think they were anything too impressive. We're about to have to go on the road at another Mississippi school, though. I also just got back from being on the road. I was in Mobile, Alabama this weekend. Just landed off of my plane. It is time to play this matchup. What I will say about the great city of Mobile, Alabama, is it surprised me. I went in not as a hater, but just not expecting to be as impressed. I had a good time watching South Alabama and Tulane. Of course, I was there with RBT. Bengal came out. Eric Grayweather was there. We had a blast. But taking that trip has caused me to not play this dynasty for a few days. so I might be a little bit rusty as we take on the Rebels. No, we're not going to give up a touchdown on this first offensive play. This is just going to throw another wrench in our season because anything that has been working for us I've forgotten about, but we got the interception. It has taken no time to get the football back. Austin Simmons is making mistakes as a senior. Really bad mistakes too. Like, I'd expect a throw like that, a read like that out of a freshman, a sophomore. Just forcing it for absolutely no reason. Though we're going to fumble, we've immediately turned it back over, and we got it. Okay, 3rd and 14. Oxford's going to get loud here. We're most likely just punting this ball back to the Rebels as we are under pressure. No way we get around all these defenders. But at least we didn't end up turning the ball over. They're going to have to start this drive down here at about the 30-yard line, and it's going to be through the air still. They have all their faith in Austin Simmons. Can this dude just take multiple hits? We nailed him hard. He took it in stride. We nailed him again. He takes it in stride. What is Austin Simmons doing? This is elite defense right now. It's exactly what Arkansas needs. A big run out of Cameron Williams. But Marion Peterson is the real name that I wanted to see, as he's going to go for 15. We cannot let him miss out on the Heisman Trophy. I would like to continue to feed him the rock, and that's going to get him a touchdown. You know, Austin Simmons is costing Ole Miss this game. Their offense is playing the way that they were against Kentucky this weekend, but eventually we know what happened. They figured it out. My Wildcats ended up losing, and I'm just ready for a new coach to come in. I've been patient with Mark Stoops. He's done great things for this program, but we're now on like year 13 with him. We better stop this run as well. All right, back to my Mark Stoops rant. Just roll out Cutter Boley at quarterback. Let us play the youngin from Kentucky. We also still just make way too many mistakes as a team that we should not be making. It is frustrating to watch. I understand Kentucky football is not necessarily supposed to be a powerhouse. Can we not give up another big play? Kewan Lacey is the only person on this Rebels offense that I'm currently fearing. He is very difficult to bring down. I'm starting to remember what it was like playing on some of these sliders. Fortunately, we've gotten them on a 3rd and 15. They didn't get anything. In fact, they dropped the ball there, so we'll gladly hold them to 3. You could definitely tell that offensively, though, they were getting a little bit better on that drive without their turnovers, without Austin Simmons literally just handing the ball straight back to us. So we got to get something going here. Looks like we're going to get a huge play out of Cameron Williams. And what is this hole that we're getting on the next one for Marion Peterson? Evidently, it wasn't very great. On a 3rd and 11 after losing a yard with the run, we didn't have the time. I'm not sure Courtney Crutchfield was very open there either, and this punt is not pinning them back far. They're going to spread us out with their offense as well, taking this quick 7-yard throw. But that is the end of one quarter where we're currently sitting on top. This ball should be going to Kewan Lacey every day of the week, but we make that tackle. And here we go. It's 3rd and 6. It's time for Austin Simmons to make a mistake. We got cooked by the Texas route, but he throws it in the double coverage. We're going to grab it with keys. And how has he already thrown 3 interceptions? The senior is asking to get benched by Lane Kiffin. I'm surprised he hasn't been already. For all we know, Ole Miss could be way better than us, and they're just making too many mistakes. Whenever you've ended like 3 of your 4 drives turning the ball over, it is genuinely impossible to come out on top. But I will say, we're not putting very much pressure on the Rebels because we just haven't moved the ball well at all. I think this punt is going to go better for us, though. Never mind. Still going to be fielded at about the 20. But what can we do? Amarian Peterson is not playing many of his snaps, and we can't get over there in time. That could have been pick number 4 for Austin Simmons. I thought we just snagged that. It's coming. It is coming. I'm not sure when it's coming, but it's going to come soon. It might come on this play. I don't know what these reads are. He has 100% been the worst quarterback that we've played all year. That's a great tackle, though. Normally, we can't clutch up whenever they take a check down. We were able to here. Courtney Crutchfield fields the punt, but he gets caught. We're just going to go with the stretch over to this left side. Amarian Peterson, too tired to make a big play. But we are keeping him in the game because when we've had success on offense, it has been on the ground. Until Amarian Peterson can't walk anymore, he will continue to get this ball. But running did not work out for us, which is why we're throwing it on 3rd down. And I can't believe how clamped up everybody just got. We dropped it. You know, if our offense was just remotely competent in this game, we would already be ahead like 21-3. But we are our biggest enemy. It's a good thing that we're facing Austin Simmons, though, because they have had no success. And I'm pretty confident in our ability to continue to stop them, except we miss so many tackles. It's Kewan Lacey versus the world, and right now, he controls it. It's like we're solid out of a cover 2 press, but whenever we're not running cover 2 press, we're not great. Austin Simmons threw the ball away. He had like 15 yards to take. It's about to be 3rd and 13. And here's the thing. I'm not sure if Ole Miss is in field goal range or not. All the time in the world, and we're getting cooked. But he dropped it. He dropped it. Kawan Lacey made a mistake. And thank goodness he did, or else we'd be down by 3. Now we have to handle this final 2 minutes well. And look at the separation out of Micah Tees. He is going to fumble the ball. Why did our teammates get in the way of us there? Why? He got forced into a hurdle. He takes a big hit to his back and he drops it. It's just like we can never have anything nice. Anytime it seems like things are about to start going our way, this stuff happens. We've had so many opportunities to capitalize, and we have messed up so many times. Ole Miss is about to score their first tutty. If we're going to get into the playoffs, I think I'd consider this a must-win game as well. Get the pick. All right, 45 seconds left in the first half. On our first play, we couldn't even get 2 seconds in the pocket back there. So this time, we're just going to fumble. We're going to fumble. We're going to take another sack. I'm not sure why Austin Simmons held onto the ball for so long, but this is how you collapse to end a first half. Unless we can get away with a crazy playmaker at the last second, it's going to be picked. It's going to be picked, and it's an arm punt. We have controlled this whole first half with our defense, but now we have to get an interception, our 4th one. We should have had that football in our hands. I left Kawan Lacey wide open underneath. They got open there, but that could have been so much worse than it was. Tight end isn't there. Take the sack. Well, I'm not happy with the score going into halftime. I feel like we should have the lead. The fact that we're trailing stinks. At least there is plenty of time for us to turn things around. It's not easy, though, whenever they're able to get in like that. Jaden Platt only gets 6. And we're relying on Courtney Crutchfield to get open with his slant. They got the blitz in. I didn't throw it away in time. So it's all on Malachi Nelson. This is really, really painful. Ole Miss has done a great job of getting us on a 3rd down and then getting us off of the field. They've done it like 5 times. In fact, it kind of feels like we haven't converted on a single 3rd down this entire game. I have to ask, what are we doing with our pressure, though? The fact that Austin Simmons gets all this time back there and we can't get in. How bad is our defensive line? I thought our defensive line was kind of solid. They're in the end zone. You know, this really puts the pressure on us. If we don't start scoring, it's over. We have been so bad offensively. We should not have 7 points in this game. All right, I can pretty much guarantee, though, that, like, nobody's going to get open here. I was going to go to Courtney Crutchfield deep, and we're going to make a diving catch. He falls into the end zone. He hangs on to the football. Is this the same Courtney Crutchfield we've had all season? I think Malachi Nelson needs to get a lot of credit for that throw because, wow, it was great. But just the fact that Courtney Crutchfield got open in the first place as well, we will definitely take 3 broken tackles. That just makes me feel like it's cover 2 man or nothing. We hold them underneath. Austin Simmons somehow throws a dime. And all those stops that we were getting in the first half, well, that is now completely gone out the window. It was a great tackle from Patman, though. I think we're going to have to make another. And on 3rd and 11, I'm waiting for someone to come across the field. Austin Simmons is able to find a wide open Kawan Lacey, who breaks a tackle and is at the 2. To be fair, that was my man. That was my fault. But I also thought that after 6 seconds, we just might have been able to get a hand on Austin Simmons. It wasn't happening, though. We couldn't stop Ole Miss, and they're holding our run. That's going to make it 2nd and 9. I'm looking for our crossing route over to Andy Jean. And even though Malachi Nelson saw that one like 2 seconds too late, it's not the end of the world. He finds Jaden Platt, and we're at the 36. See, I'm staying out there in hurry-up mode because I feel like we are playing pretty well offensively at the moment while we're in it. We don't even need to run the football. That was clearly not doing much for us. Jaden Platt is going to hang on. He's going to break a tackle. Never mind, it's Bobo. Jeff Bobo came into the game, and then Marion Peterson returned. We've not seen him in a bit, but he saw we were in the red zone, and he's like, all right, I can come back to get us a touchdown. So we're right back in it. Only down by 3 points. Here on a 2nd and 5, Kawan Lacey is getting another carry, but he's not going too far. We have a real chance to get them off of the field, though I can't pull our safeties out of positioning, or else we will 100% not be able to force an interception. King gets his 2nd of the day, and Austin Simmons coming over to make a tackle. Okay, there's hope for Arkansas football. Arkansas fans, we have hope again. Noah King has decided that he wanted to set us up in field goal range. Malachi Nelson might be single-handedly trying to take us out of it, though. Jaden Platt is going to have to get us a big gain, and that's what he does. Now, I think this is a great time for Marion Peterson to return, taking this carry and going for 2. We can still hand it off to him one more time before trying to throw the football. Just not much room to take. I'm not too upset with it, though. On 3rd and 7, I thought we had our drag, and it should have been picked. At least we're going to be able to tie the game all up at 24. And our defense is really figuring things out. Whenever we're in man-to-man coverage, we're good. Right there, they had a wide open lane to take. But luckily for us, a penalty has brought it back. and I thought we got toasted deep there, which is why I was trying to help. All of this pressing with inside leverage could really cost us. We're taking a big risk playing like this. We're betting that that kid's not going to be on a streak, and we still knocked it out. Austin Simmons almost placed that ball in a really good spot. I'm surprised that Noah King was able to make the play there. He is having a great game. Courtney Crutchfield fighting for nothing. And you know what? I think we go for a deep shot. I think we see what they come out in defensively. Micah Tease, does he have it in him to bring this ball in? He does. Malachi Nelson makes a great throw. 4 minutes left now. Inside the red zone. Cut this back with Cameron Williams. Get 7. Then we're bringing in Amarian Peterson. Going with a halfback draw and letting him take us to the 3. This is a huge play for us on 3rd and inches. I think I'm just going to hand it off up the gut, which is the right decision. But there is still a little over 3 minutes left in this game, and they're not done running the football. I can't blame them, though. That's what they need to be doing with Kawan Lacey. What I know is on 3rd and 5, he's probably going to be one of the targets they look at. There's no way. There's no way. They keep on thinking these are good reads. Austin Simmons needs to be banished from Oxford. I've never seen a quarterback just throw up so many balls that stood like no chance of being caught. Ole Miss has basically lost this game. We still have to be able to pick up a first down. But then again, even if we don't, I feel like we could hit a field goal from here. We're just going to go with our drag, and you know Micah Tease is on the other end of it. I can't say that we deserve to win this game because there were moments where it really felt like we didn't. But we were still able to persevere, and Amarian Peterson is going to get another touchdown. That was just a nice way for us to end the game. Ole Miss did nothing with the extra time on the clock, even if it was a little bit risky. The idea of it was he'd rise back up in the Heisman Trophy race. As you can see, he's currently sitting in 2nd place with over 1,000 rushing yards and 17 tutties. As for the conference standings, Tennessee just beat Alabama, so they are the highest ranked team in the SEC. We're sitting down here in 5th place. And the only 2 undefeated teams left in the country are Duke and Washington. Now, if we finish this season with 2 more wins, we are locked into the college football playoff, which is nice. But if our offense plays this game the way they did in the first half against Ole Miss, then we're not beating the Sooners. By now, most of our fans fully believe that we should be a playoff team. They have bought into this program. They got the stadium going crazy, so we can't let them down. But Taylor Tatum is starting right. I mean, we were practically just begging him to get a lot of yards there, which is why we sent the house. We can't make it easy to run on us throughout this entire game, but we got a big hit. That was a close call, but Noah King came in hard. Makes it 3rd and 10. We got to just get them off the field here. Tavian Wallace. Got to look over the middle. They might still throw it near him, or they'll take a check down. And we just got our ankles snapped. You click on to make the tackle, and you just get your ankles frozen instead. Noah King, one guy that can stop the play. It would be a huge problem if he missed that tackle on Taylor Tatum. And what is this throw? What are we doing? Kelvin Hunter gets the easiest pick of all time. I feel like EA has broken something recently with one of their patches, because I had never seen the computer making awful reads like that until recently. It could also be the fact that we're not on default sliders and that messes with the game a little bit. But either way, it works out for us because it feels like almost everything else is not in our favor when we're using Arkansas. Big run out of Malachi. What is Amarian Peterson's wear and tear looking like, though? Is it possible for him to have a big game? That's going to be very important. I hope that he's not very exhausted early on. We put that right under where Courtney Crutchfield was running. He breaks a tackle, almost another. So just like that, we're at the 15-yard line with a chance to go up 7-0. Whenever Amarian Peterson gets going downhill, that's when he typically has some of his bigger runs. He only got a couple there, though, which is going to make it 3rd and 3, but it's not going to matter. I think we got to let him finish off this drive, especially with the way our offensive line's playing. Okay, that's a great way to open up the game against the Sooners, obviously. Plenty of time left in this one. And whenever there are plays like that where we just don't get in, where we clearly are not putting them under any pressure at all, it is pretty disappointing. But look at this chance we had to get a pick. That was a pretty big letdown there. We have gone with some cover 2, and they did it again. They let Kelvin Hunter just take the easiest interception again. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's nice. It's so nice. We might be able to find Andy Jean, but was taking a shot there really worth it? Now it's going to be 3rd and long. That was a waste of a drive, assuming we don't pick this up. We're trying to get outside the pocket. We need our offensive line to pick these kids up. Not a great look from Malachi Nelson there. He is fast, but I think sometimes he believes he's Lamar Jackson, and he's not. There is very few players who can actually turn that into a first down. We're getting out there fast, but they've broken 2 tackles now, so they're past midfield. Another missed tackle. Come on. Sometimes we just look so incompetent out there. They tested us, though, and that was the right choice. Devin Gardner saw the matchup he liked, and for once he did not throw an interception. They're getting in pressure so quick as well that we're literally just going to lose a yard and I think Malachi Nelson is going down. You could argue we could throw up a 50-50 ball there, but I just don't trust it. And so even though it looked like we could get off to a quick start, we've just gotten held to a 3-and-out. Oklahoma's getting it back. And for all we know, they're about to score again. Obviously, we're going to need the double high safeties, so that's what we've got here. But if the user is not better, we're never stopping the run. On 2nd and 10, they're going to go with play action. So we're going to get the sack. No, we're not going to get the sack. He got the throw out. It looked like Devin Gardner was literally in the middle of an Eiffel Tower and then still was able to get out of it. Just like that, this entire game has flipped. We were about to get the football back, but now unless we can get him to somehow throw his 3rd interception, they've guaranteed at least a lead. I highly doubt we're going to be able to stop the quarterback sneak. I didn't even come out trying to, but I assumed we wouldn't let them just walk it in. We should probably be running the football here, but we are going to go to the air. Amarian Peterson makes the catch, cuts upfield, and we could still tie things up to end this first half. Before we recruit some of these guys for Oklahoma, though, I think we got to put them through an IQ test because clearly they cannot have any awareness. Just completely missing guys to block. On 3rd down, we get enough. But let's not act like Amarian Peterson is having a good day. 10 rushes for 19 yards. Malachi Nelson throws this out of bounds. And I guess Cameron Williams is going to take this next one. There's a lot of frustration going on for Arkansas football right now, but we still come close to the marker. And I don't think there's any reason to complicate this. We're just going to hand it off with our pull blocks. We should have always gotten the first. Now we're starting to get some positive momentum again, running into a sack. That'll take it down to just 30 seconds left. In this first half, they almost picked it. Jaden Platt could not have been more open either. I'm sure we're probably not going to convert. That edge over on that right side has made multiple big tackles. That field goal basically took us to halftime, where we're going to start the second half with the ball. Amarian Peterson going for 12. It's nice, but he really has not had a good game for us. Neither has Cameron Williams. I'm pretty disappointed with the way that we're currently running the football. Andy Jean gets tackled. And on 3rd and 11, Andy Jean's open. Malachi Nelson misses him, though. I just don't think he's a good enough quarterback to ever win a championship with. In fact, he might not be good enough to get us into the college football playoff because currently we're going to be out. I think losing a game like this to Oklahoma would put us too low in the polls, though. He threw that at the last second. Devin Gardner completely faked me out. I tried to bring pressure at him on this play, but instead he's going to keep it and actually run. As I continue to bring heat in his direction, we should be getting in here. He makes the throw on the run. He's handling it pretty well. Handing it off, setting up for a 3rd and 2. Now, I know they're probably handing this ball off, which is why I pinched our line, and we go for the hit stick. What a hold there. Getting the Sooners off of the field has saved us from being in a 2-possession game. What are we going to do with it, though? That is the real question. I wanted to dump it off. Of course, before that can happen, though, we just get caught on our offensive line, which sets us up for 3rd and 9. I think we're about to get held to another 3-and-out, unless Courtney Crutchfield reaches across the marker. He dropped it. That is our best receiver still not being able to make plays for us. I don't know if next year we're going to have a better receiving room, but I do know there's a couple more exciting prospects than him. It is really crazy to be looking forward to next year while the season's still going on, but that should let you know how sick I am of some of the guys on this roster. It's 3rd and 8. This is a manageable spot for us to get a stop. Though, we got to hit him. We got to hit him hard. I will try and keep things on the ground for this drive versus the last couple. Even if I'm tempted, even if I see the press, I have to know. This is setting up for a major run. But at this point in the season, Amarian Peterson can only take so much, so he's out for the next one. We can't just feed him the ball the same way, which is why I ended up throwing it a little bit more. They were smart, though. And they ended up having a quarterback spy. There's a flag. There should not be a flag against the Sooners. This is a full-on bailout, but they're going to say it was PI. Back on the ground, Cameron Williams is going to take this carry for 8. Every so often, our offensive line shows up, and I'll be very curious to see how hard Oklahoma bites on this. What is that throw? Malachi Nelson got stuck on his back foot, so we're just going to go with the RPO and a bad throw to Andy Jean. These tough sliders, though, really do make it hard for me to ever have an accurate pass. This might be the only series that I use something like these for because it might have made things a little too difficult. It's made things competitive, stressful, fun. But at the same time, there's just a lot of throws I'd expect us to make that we don't. Whenever we can eventually get this roster to win a national championship, though, it will be earned. You can't say it isn't. We have a big 3rd and 2 coming up. I'm probably just going to throw this to Jaden Platt, and I don't know if he has enough. All right, they're saying he does under 5 minutes as well. Time has gone away very quick on this drive. It's setting up for an Amarian Peterson touchdown, though. He's going to have to fight. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 2. I will motion Jeff Bobo over. I think this is going to give us some more blockers on this side that could really make a difference. Maybe not, though. He couldn't hold up. which means we're just going to go to Courtney Crutchfield, who brings it in. You know, one thing we didn't do much of this season is direct snaps. Malachi Nelson is going to take the direct snap here and have nowhere at all. But what if we did the exact same thing for Marion Peterson? Is that going to open up anything? Or is Oklahoma going to be all over it again? We're just in a tough spot. They know what's coming once we're down on the goal line. Though, we got the blocks, and Marion Peterson is in the end zone. He's not had a Heisman performance in this game. But you know what? We have a lead, and Taylor Tatum has all the space in the world. I gave it to him, though. I am daring Devin Gardner to throw the football because I trust our defense if we can get them to. Tavian Wallace gets over. He runs under it. And the Razorbacks are 2 minutes away from moving to 9-2. That's the first interception I really feel like we earned. It wasn't off of just a terrible read. Oklahoma is using all 3 of their timeouts, though. They could easily get us off of the field. Marion Peterson hits a whole other level to get the first. We are seeing a side out of him right now that wants to end game. He wants to call it, but he's tired. It's going to take a first down. That's what it's going to take if we want to beat the Sooners. And I know we can't throw this to Courtney Crutchfield, even though I probably want to. We're going to look at Micah Tease, wait for him to get open here, and we couldn't hit him. Malachi Nelson was just moving too much at the same time. At least we'll be up by 6. I'm definitely loving the way that Josh Neiman is currently kicking the football for us. We have to avoid giving up any big plays, though. And I got stuck on a teammate. You know what? Maybe it is all about the man-to-man coverage as we get a sack. It's been a long time since I've been able to trust man-to-man coverage in a football game. That last time was NCAA Football 14. You know what we did in the offseason, though? We ended up improving our man-to-man coverage, and it's paid off tremendously. I kind of made it to where our zone coverage didn't improve that much. On 4th and 25, they're taking their shot down the field. We can swat this away with Allen. They catch it. They catch it on our heads. This game's not over. We switched to zone coverage for one play, and all of a sudden, they're getting a huge one as they just take the dump off and they're at the 1. No, they're in the end zone. There is no way we just fell apart like that. Arkansas fans do not deserve this. The good thing is we still have all 3 of our timeouts. We can utilize some bubble screens. We can get out of bounds after getting a 10-yard gain. And all we have to do is get a field goal, which really isn't all that bad. That's the only reason I'm not too stressed and I'm not too mad about the fact that we just gave up that last play, because it was ridiculous. We had him on a 4th and 25. I was so scared of taking a sack and losing yards there, though, that we ran backwards. We had a horrible play, and now we're taking a sack. That might have actually done it. It is 4th and 8. Are we going to have our slant? I hit the wrong button, and it was off target. What was that collapse? How did we just collapse? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Let's see how far we fall in the polls. Have you ever just sat there in silence? Something happens in a game, and you just sit there. You don't know what to say. I'm skipping over everything. Where are we at? We're at number 20. We fell all the way down to number 20. There is simply no way that we can get back to the playoff, I don't think, unless like all these teams above us also lose. It's also ruined our chance at making it to the SEC championship. We did see some crazy stuff happen at the end of last season, so we just got to let this play out and see how it unfolds. Our strength of schedule was insane. It was a very tough road for us to even get to this point. Not as tough as season 2, but pretty close to it, which is why I would at least love to think that we have taken another step forward with Arkansas. Is it the step that we thought might happen with the way we played? Probably not. There was a point this season where I really believed we could win a championship, but it is still progress. On 2nd and 8, we have 2 guys locked up with Tavian Wallace, and they throw it straight at Patman. He is a defensive back, and he just let that one hit him in the hands, but that's the shot they take with a slant open. They're punting. Okay, first drive for us. We're going to give this ball to Marion Peterson, who's starting to feel a lot better. I still cannot believe the fact that we fell to Oklahoma. I feel like that wouldn't have happened if he was at 100%. I mean, we had them on a 4th and 25 too. Like, that game was over. There were definitely mistakes on my end. But just time and time again, whenever we don't have to do much to close things out, they get whatever they need. That can't be a fumble. I'm challenging it. It's either not a catch and a drop, or we're going to get this ball back. His knee was on the ground. It's a good thing the refs cared about that too, or else they would have really been testing my patience. Micah Tease, can you make a play here for me? Can you make a play here for me? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, not exactly how I was hoping they would start their drive, but either way, we got the big play that we were hoping for. They're still going to need to work for every last yard that they want. I see absolutely no way that they find a read here, but they did get the throw out. Props to Larry Regis for that. Under center, they throw it over to that side, and you know who Kelvin Hunter is. He's coming down with it at midfield. When are teams going to learn that is not the safety on our roster that you want to test? Absolute beast. Now we got Cameron Williams running for a first down. All of the momentum in this game feels like it is on our side. We just have to make sure that that does not change. I can't get Oklahoma off of my mind. They're going to live there rent-free for the rest of this video. We even pulled out some direct snaps against them and saw almost no success. We're seeing a bit more against the Tigers. But Marion Peterson didn't get in. I let him rest by calling a timeout so he could still get his touchdown here, which he does. And up 14-0, we're looking to get another stop so we can make things even worse. But we're giving up the seam with Noah King. Not a great look for him there. We'll see if they end up going underneath. They didn't. We still need to get some more pressure on Larry Regis. And so I sent a blitz, but with no help over top. We fell for the play action, and we should have also bit on the jet touch pass. But fortunately, it was just one guy that did. We're going to give up the slant. That's completely fine. It's 3rd and 6. We can make it to where Missouri is not able to score out of this drive. We couldn't keep up with Jeremiah McClellan, though. He was just quick enough. Everyone in the stadium saw exactly where that ball was going, which is why that's so unfortunate. Cameron Williams, though, getting the blocks that he needs from his teammates on the screen. And Marion Peterson's back out there after that to get nothing. We're going to flip the stretch here and see if that can help out at all. It did. It's hard, though, because we are going to take a risk on 3rd and 1 by turning this into a potential touchdown. We got Micah Tease going deep. Micah Tease is there, but we threw it so late, and we're lucky there's a flag because, oh, it's against him? I guess it was good defense. I'm not sure whether or not they're going to accept that, but the right move was to, of course. It's made it 3rd and 11, where it would have been 4th and 1. Dude in his face. We will go back to Micah Tease. This time, he catches it. Malachi Nelson is currently throwing an extremely pretty deep ball, and that was the best thing they could find. That's when you know you're playing well defensively, whenever they're taking their time on a play to make some awful reads like this one. I'm glad Cameron Keyes stuck with him, but I don't know why he just started running backwards. They picked up the 3rd and 17. I sold out for the pass, though. The draw play was a perfect call. Every so often, it works out well. It works wonders, and they're at the 40. We know what we're getting facing off against running back Turbo Richard. You're either going to get a huge run or a loss of yards. Evidently, they have speed. That's how they've scored there, but what if we also have speed deep, and we just decide to send it back over to Micah T's side? He didn't catch it. By that point, though, we'd already been able to get it near midfield, and I think it was worth it. Andy Jean is going to be my first read on this play. If he's not there, we almost just have to rely on Courtney. But here's where we're going to get a little bit controversial. We set ourselves up for a 4th and 7 that I believed we could pick up. That could have gone extremely bad. Fortunately, it worked out for us. But then we come out and lose so many yards to the point that we're just going to go to Micah Tease and get a lot of it back. I don't know why they're dropping back so hard on defense. That's off target. There is some fear out of Missouri, though, that we're going to be able to score a touchdown here. And there's no eyes, no picks. Bring that in. Bring it in. You know, I should never doubt Malachi Nelson again after what we're seeing out of him as a passer in this game. He uses his legs, and he dives into the end zone to end the half. That is what you want to see out of your star quarterback. We get the ball to start this 3rd quarter as well, with nowhere to run. But who cares? Currently, if Missouri decides that they're going to press us, we know that we can beat them. There's lots of time left in this game, but I've decided we're going to do a better job of watching the clock in this and the future. Going too fast has cost us too many times at this point. Blocks are looking great on 3rd down. 10 rushes, 63 yards. Marion Peterson having himself a decent day. The story of this game, though, it's been Malachi Nelson, who is going to get us another 20. It is a shame that as we are really starting to find our rhythm, we're coming off of such a bad loss. Maybe Oklahoma can finish out the season winning, and it's not going to look as bad as it did whenever we lost to an unranked team at home. I'm still just accepting, though, that we're probably not going to see the college football playoff this year, which really stinks. We're now on the 7-yard line, and Marion Peterson has all the room in the world. There is still time that we could blow this game, but it's going to be pretty hard for us to do so. We have a 21-point lead going into the 4th quarter, which is super nice. I don't like looking at these polls. It just makes me sad. 3rd and 2, watching the tight end underneath, but they found the gap in our defense. You know what, though? That's okay. With what we were running there, we deserve to give it up. For a split second, the Tigers got a little bit of momentum on their side, but they're going to have to stop us offensively. And Marion Peterson doesn't want to go out of the game now. He wants to be able to end this one. I still think it's in our best interest to throw the rock on 3rd and 4, though Jaden Platt is who I want to give it to. He's got some safe hands that we can hit, even when he is guarded, though it's going to be 3rd and 6 again. You know who we're going to need. You know who we're going to lean on. We might go for it. I really don't think this is too crazy either. I don't mind it at all. Malachi Nelson scrambles, and he's got it while breaking a tackle. Missouri is starting to feel the pressure because of how well we've handled ourselves. This is what matters, though. This 3rd and 14. We have to make sure that we can at least kick a field goal. If Josh Neiman is accurate here, this game's going to be over. Though, I don't think he had a strong enough leg to hit. He did. I guess I've been maxing out his kick power in the offseason because the kick sliders make it harder to hit those deep kicks. On 4th and 4, they're still in it. Does Missouri have what it takes to come back from this moment? Absolutely not, especially trying to give Kelvin Hunter another interception. But I would like to see our defense just hold them to 21 points instead of giving this up. Oh well, we're going for the recovery here. We scoop it up, and that will do it. No SEC championship appearance this season. We go 9-3. I think it's great for season 3 with the Razorbacks, but we should have been 10-2. And that's what's going to hurt. You could always argue, though, that we've won games we probably shouldn't have, so it goes both ways. Marion Peterson now has the most rushing touchdowns in a season in school history for the Razorbacks, with 21 of them, but he is still not at the top of the Heisman running. So he's not going to win it, especially since we're not playing in the SEC championship. We don't get another game to have better stats. Sitting at number 17 in the country, I don't think the polls are going to adjust to where we're in the playoffs, and I see so many guys that want to transfer at the end of the year, too. At least we're still doing well on the recruiting front, signing all the guys in this class that we have so far. Shakir Felix is going to be a 4-star gym that we're going to pick up. We did end up closing out on Shakir Doss as well. Our class is currently ranked number 7 in the country with 5 stars, but we still got the portal period to make our big impact. I have thought about it for a little bit. If we want to fire either one of these coordinators, I could get rid of Jim Mora. I just don't think we're going to find better. And with 36 skill points to spend, what we can start to do is make it to where our starting receivers and tight ends are going to gain XP faster. We could also do it for running backs, or we could worry about our defensive line, and I think that's what I want to do. We've developed decently well there, but not enough to get pressure at all times. It's one of our biggest weaknesses as a team. FIU's quarterback, Will Wilson, won the Heisman Trophy. I don't know where he came from, but that's better than losing it to a receiver from Miami. Kelvin Hunter is going to win the Chuck Bednarik Award, so his season with 7 interceptions definitely made an impact. I'm expecting a Marion Peterson to be the best running back in the country with the Doak Walker. And we got Ohio State, not in the playoffs. I thought for a split second it was going to be a playoff game. No, we're playing in the Music City Bowl. Guess who we're not going to have for it either? Malachi Nelson. He's decided he's going to sit out and hope that he gets drafted into the NFL. He doesn't want to risk any injury, which means Brady Hart, the guy that could be starting at quarterback for us next season, is going to be going out against the Buckeyes. I don't mind that too much, though. RJ Harris, the 5-star gym at corner, only his impact development. That is pretty disappointing. At least Quentin Osborne is going to have star. I want to see elite dev out of those 5-star gyms. Darren Friday's not a gym, but he has elite development as a 5-star, so one player in this class did. He'll be able to become a starter pretty quickly for us. Let's see who made the playoffs over our team, though. All these guys had 2 losses. You know what? It makes sense. If anything, Ohio State should be upset that they're on the outside of the playoff. Looking back on our season, the loss at Texas A&M, that was a quality loss to have. The loss at Mississippi State's really what cost us, because that's another game. If we don't give up 52 points to them, we're not in this spot. This is a real test to see how good were we actually this year, though. Ohio State averaged 10 more points per game than us. We're going to be using a backup quarterback against the Buckeyes. If we can be competitive here, it gives me so much more hope for the future versus if we get blown out. This year, if you look at our stats, we ran it basically half the time, more than we ever have before. And I think it really helped, at least whenever we were able to find success running the football. Marion Peterson on the first carry gets us 8. He has had time to rest, and he's a senior. I don't care if he gets 30 carries in this game. He can put his body on the line all day. Big 3rd and 1, though, where we are going to get it with Cameron Williams. That is our future at running back next season, assuming he doesn't transfer, so he is another player we still have to keep a close eye on. Turns out Malachi Nelson just forgot he wasn't playing in this game, though. He is now taken out. Definitely not my fault at all for the storyline. All right, Brady Hart is out there, finally, and this is where things could go downhill. We're going to let him get warmed up by just completing this jet touch pass, seeing if we can block. I guess not, which means he's going to have to make a difficult throw on 3rd and 14, and he gets it out very quick. You know, his arm is weaker than Malachi Nelson's, but he is more accurate, which is nice. We're getting stuffed, though. Sam Pittman is not happy about that 4th and 1 play call. Our defense has really held us down most of this year, though, so I'm expecting them to do it here. I love those clamps on 1st down. Tavian Wallace filled that hole, but they still managed to get a first. That's unfortunate. Big part of this season that we still got to look forward to after this game, though, is the offseason. That's how I end every video in this series. And when it comes to the training results, when it comes to the transfer portal, it's what has set up our team every year where we've had success. We did not recover this fumble, though. I love seeing the payoff, though, whenever it comes to us working on tackling, working on hit power. Man-to-man coverage is not working as well against the Buckeyes. We're getting routed up by a lot of these guys. It is what it is, though. We got a lot of area to cover with Noah King. And they're in. Now, Brady Hart is going to be expected to make a crazy throw. Well, I wanted him to try it, but the Buckeyes, we're not letting that happen. We're just going to need him to hit his slant. And isn't this nice? To see some accuracy out of our guy is so sweet. We didn't pick up the last 3rd and 1 on the ground, but we are going to get this one with Marion Peterson. After this game, we still have to look at his stats for the season. And that's a tough throw. One thing we can't do with Brady Hart, since he only has 76 speed, is run the football. But Jaden Platt has nobody near him. The tight end goes to the 15. Ohio State might be in some shambles right now, and I don't mind using another RPO as Micah Tease is at the 1. He is practically in the end zone already, so we should be able to QB sneak it. Brady Hart is just a little bit of a twig, so he could take a hit and fumble, but he held on strong. This kid right here might be the future of Arkansas football. I really did like how he looked offensively there. We're going to give up just a few, but that's not too bad. It's 3rd and 6 where they go with the halfback screen, and the block just saved them. They're going to get so much more. We really needed to get another guy over there. Motioning, I'm expecting the throw. It's a quick pass, though, and that motion was just able to get them free enough to explode out of there. The diving tackle missed. We got scored on, by the way, by a guy named Bo Jackson. That is what we're up against. The pressure might have just gotten a little bit harder for Brady Hart as he finds Andy Jean's hands. Not his fault Andy Jean just can't hold on to the football. Going to be a hard 3rd and 12 to convert with as we're going down. Ohio State gets the stop, and they also kept it on this option. Trey Owens has been difficult for us to stop. Ohio State should have made it to the playoffs. I mean, they're very good. We beat teams that made it to the playoffs, though. I think we're just proving that if we had a little bit more success, we are at a pretty high level, not just fluky results for us any longer, though you just can't leave someone that open. This might be where Ohio State goes up by 2 possessions. They're at the 2. I'm truly being as aggressive as it gets whenever it comes to stopping the run that was out of reach. It leaves us with just 2 minutes left in this game, and Brady Hart is going to find Marion Peterson for a drop. See, I know we haven't improved his catching that much because we have been focused on other stats, but that is frustrating because he was wide open. He's a Heisman contending running back. And you know what? The mistakes are going to happen, but we just can't afford for them to happen right now because Ohio State's up 14. Brady Hart is trying to make it to where we can finish this first half strong so we can get it back within 7. I'm not sure he's done anything too impressive through the air, though. We've had a lot of screen plays, a lot of shorter passes. So how prepared are we really for next season, even with him at quarterback? I guess he's going to be able to scramble for 6. Not exactly what we were hoping for there. And it's going to be 3rd and 3. Well, it's 4 down territory. We're going for it if we don't pick this up. But ideally, we just hit the bubble in stride. Believe it or not, that is a huge deal to me because Malachi Nelson was missing a lot of those shorter passes. I told you, his accuracy was too low. What I'm realizing is since Brady Hart's got like 95 accuracy on multiple things, it's a lot easier to make passes like that. If we would have made that same throw with Malachi Nelson, it would have been off target. It would have been too high or something, and it would have prevented us from scoring. As this game goes on, we'll see what happens, but I like the way our offense is currently looking. You have to remember, though, the one time we gave Brady Hart a chance, we played bad. It has been almost 2 seasons since then, but I've not forgotten about it. They take the quick throw to get the first. Our linebackers are about as good as they get as well. Not much more we can do. I've got them in hook curls, but they need to play underneath. Maybe if we use Kelvin Hunter, we can guard a little bit more on the field. No, we can't. These Ohio State receivers are still insane, like always. If they didn't have a good core there, it would be really odd to me. Keeping it with the read option, no one's getting to Trey Owens in time. We push him in. Am I that surprised that they were able to find success? Honestly, not really. But I'll tell you what. I would love to get a big play in this game, and Micah Tease has it. Catch it. Just like that, I'm feeling better. Brady Hart is going to hand it off for nothing. I thought a draw play could help us out there. Now I'm forcing it to Andy Jean. He's going to have some rougher reads every so often. This drag is completely guarded, and kicking a field goal is all that we're going to get out of this drive, so we're still going to be trailing by 11 points. To really win this fan base over, Brady Hart has got to get us a win. I don't know if he's got it in him, though. They keep it with the read option on 3rd down, and we tackle him short. Okay, Ohio State's punting it to us, so we could have a good drive here, get it back within a few points, maybe Courtney Crutchfield can have a good return. That's another player I can promise will not really be that missed, even though he should be since he's a high overall senior. I'm gonna be so real. I think some 82 overall that's currently sitting on our bench could be just as good as he's been for us. We're going down. We don't have Malachi Nelson outrun the pressure. Brady Hart, you cannot play the same way as Malachi. Maybe Jaden Platt can pick this up. Well, that blanketed coverage did hurt us. We are eventually able to get them to a 3rd and 13 with an opportunity to get them off the field. But with 6 minutes left in this game, we're in trouble. I don't really love the playbook that we're currently in for throwing the football. It was great for running it, but at the moment, we're just struggling to get a lot going through the air. Brady Hart's looking to dissect on 3rd down, and that's what he does as Jaden Platt's open. The real question, though, is can we get anything going farther than that? We're out there in 5 wide trying to cook up. Ohio State's sending 5 guys, and it makes it 3rd and 6. We're going to have underneath. We're going to pick up the block for Andy Jean, and we're going to try and set up for a deeper play down the field. Can Brady Hart hit this throw to Andy Jean? He can. He drops it in the bucket, and we're back. We're 1 stop away from having an opportunity to tie things up here. I thought we were going to get a hand on him before we did. You might notice, though, we had troubles with our extra point, which means we're only at 23. They just throw this ball up. We thankfully make a play on it. And here we go. This is where things get fun. Brady Hart was starting to get a little bit more confident at the end of that last drive. He's thrown for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. I expect him to help us score. We should be able to make things tied up, though Andy Jean's going to have a tough catch here. And he didn't even make a play on the ball. He didn't even make a play. You know, Devin Sanchez is a great cornerback. He has multiple platinum abilities, but that hurts, and that hurts a lot. Tavian Wallace had a great tackle there. We took him out of position on this next one, though, which means we're giving up the 1st down. And they might as well just walk into the end zone. They might as well just take it in. We can see what Brady Hart does with another drive, but these checkdowns only got us so far. I think he played a really good game for us, and he has the ability to make good throws like that one. But there were a couple mistakes there that we still cannot afford to have. And honestly, we're just sending this up. Let's run under it with Andy Jean. There's only a minute remaining, trailing by 15, which is why I'm trying to force it there. And Zach Forrest missed the ball. That's the 2nd time one of our receivers just doesn't get his hands on the ball. Brady Hart's thrown multiple interceptions. It's got me really questioning, is he the future in season 4? Truth is, I'm really not sure. Malachi Nelson finished only completing 60% of his passes, but I am proud of him for throwing just 5 interceptions. The year before, he threw 15. We definitely did better on that front. Amarian Peterson rushing for 21 touchdowns, 1,373 yards. I mean, this step up from the previous season was even better, an extra yard per carry. Then you have Cameron Williams, who doesn't want to transfer, so that's good. He will be back next season. Micah Tease was our best receiver, and he is going to be gone due to championship contender. It's not high enough for him. 7 interceptions out of Kelvin Hunter. The junior will be sticking around, which we do love to see, but Noah King doesn't like our pro potential, and he was an All-American strong safety. As for the national champion, it's going to be Tennessee. And I'm actually going to be down in Knoxville this weekend for Georgia at Tennessee. I don't know why EA just gives me the events to go to when it deals with the Volunteers, knowing I'm a Kentucky fan. It's like I'm being trolled. They had me playing with the Volunteers in the early college football 26 gameplay against Ryan Williams as well. These are all the guys that are going to be leaving us, though. Every single one. Well, we'll just start trying to convince guys to stick around. And Micah Tease is going to stay. As for Courtney Crutchfield, this is what I was talking about all year. He is not going to be able to get any better when it comes to route running, hands, or quickness. So, of our 2 receivers, Micah Tease was the one that I would have loved to stick around. He's gone. We're also going to lose great guys on our defensive line like Jordan Crawford and Derek Simmons because our playing style wasn't good enough for them. It was just too low. So, that just depletes our front few guys. Tavian Wallace is also not coming back. Another big name on our defense. I feel like we're losing so many good defenders, though Cameron Keys said he'd return for his senior season. And with 2 persuasions left, we got Micah Clayton back. He's a sophomore star dev corner. We'll go for Caleb Bell as well since he's a sophomore. He's going to stay too. So those are some really big pulls. Other key players that are going to graduate, not be on this team next season, include Malachi Nelson. He is not going to the NFL. Andy Jean, just below what it would have taken to go to the NFL. Amarian Peterson. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them go in the 7th round as a flyer, but it turns out none of them did. So these are the 4 players we put on. Courtney Crutchfield got drafted in the 3rd round, Jaden Platt in the 2nd, Tavian Wallace in the 1st. Now I have to just sit here though and look through this team. I know that Brady Hart is going to be starting for us next year unless somehow Greg Gage just takes this major step forward over him. I'm not sure that's going to occur. We have all these freshman running backs that we could train up as well to be a good backup to Cameron Williams, but they have normal dev. Receiving wise, then there's players like Zach Forrest with his star development, his 96 speed. He has 17 skill points to spend at the moment, by the way, before we get to training results, so I might as well just start out by getting his speed up to 95. I think all the skill points we get before training results come from talent developer and us having tier 3, so starting players are going to gain XP even faster. Where this team is really going to make their strides forward, though, is how we recruit. Now, we faced Barry Hankerson. We could go after him. I'm not going to. Jordan Crawford, the former Arkansas player, is the number 2 player in the portal. We could still pick up a good defensive tackle out of this. We could also try and get Derek Simmons back if we really wanted. I'm just going to build out this portal and see how many good players we can get on our board. Well, it turns out, even though some players weren't as interested in coming to Arkansas through the portal, there were a lot of 4 stars that were interested. So Greg Burrell's a running back that we could see starting for us potentially, depending on how good he is. You'll also see once we get through the players that were interested, we have Barry Hankerson on there, the quarterback. We have Tim Ball, the former 5-star corner that we recruited that transferred out of our program to go to Liberty. And then we just have some 3 stars that I think will have a better chance at landing, but we have no idea what any of this is going to look like until we advance a week. The main thing I have to keep in mind is I don't have to sign a big class to fill out our team for next season, so even if we find ourselves losing some of these battles, us not getting a chance against Georgia, against Oklahoma, it's okay. We'll just take our guess at their hard sell, and if we end up missing, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's already pretty obvious to me that we're not going to be able to sign the number 1 quarterback in the portal, which is okay. We still have Brady Hart. We also just weren't correct with our hard sell guesses, which means on some of these battles, we're just going to lose them. Though Derek Simmons, we've been able to work our way into the top 3. We have to guess his hard sell correctly. I think we have a chance to get him back on this team. I just have to remove every player from our board that we don't stand much of a chance on. And just going down here again, Barry Hankerson, he is going to be gone. No shot with him. Even on like this running back, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get him now. Seen a lot of second places. Javier Kerr was an option for us potentially at quarterback, but he'd rather go to UConn because he cares about playing time. And then Hollis Davidson III, we got his hard sell correctly, but our school grades are just not good enough to beat out FSU. Just going through the committed screens has me pretty nervous because it's never in order, so you never know who you're going to get. Rodney Fields Jr. was a running back that I would have really liked. We got Tim Ball back as well, and then I guess we got Greg Burrell too, who's another running back. So we went after 2 4-star running backs, got them both. Where is Austin Simmons, though? I mean, Derek Simmons, whatever. I can't even get his name right. No wonder he chose Oregon. They probably threw more money at him. We lost a battle for basically every 4-star defensive lineman that we wanted. We also lost that receiver to Oklahoma. Texas Tech was able to outpay for that edge. Then you got Clemson taking this one. There's some frustrating stuff going on, but remember South Carolina's quarterback, Devontae Worthy? He has elite development as a freshman, and he just chose our program, so that's pretty interesting. That's a good sign. I am glad that Tim Ball is here again. And then we're just looking at a lot of star devs out of these other players we brought in. It's going to get us the number 4 class in the country. Training results will be very crucial to how these guys progress. And there is one more thing that I want to do. I want to take someone like Alex Merriman, who we have been making a better running back for years, and then actually move him over to that position. As you can see, he was a gadget receiver. We only improved his elusiveness. He's going to be a 92 there. I completely forgot about him, which is kind of funny because we have Cameron Williams, we have Greg Burrell, we have Rodney Fields Jr., and Alex Merriman. I mean, we have more running back options than we could ever ask for. Then I noticed a little bit of a problem. Our defensive tackle position isn't looking as good as I thought it was, so we're going to have to move Daryl Cush over there from edge. I think our defensive line might have gotten worse. Linebacker is also going to take a couple years to develop because we got some really good freshmen that were 5-stars that came in, but it takes time for them to get good. And I always love to see some dev trait upgrades. This one going on to Patman, who had a really good season for us at safety and linebacker. With his star development, he's going to have 38 skill points to spend, and his zone coverage can't get any better, but his man-to-man coverage can get better, and we could also get him a lot better at making tackles. Normally, I just start by improving our offensive players, but I'm excited for this defense. Guys like Tim Ball had a lot of skill points to spend. His man coverage is a 93. He is 94 speed. He will fit our scheme really well, but another thing I should have done is focus on some of his abilities, which I've done too late. I think Marcus Tucker's becoming my favorite linebacker as well. He's not going to be my user because I've gotten some of these stats so high on him, especially his IQ. But I think we can just watch him work as a 94 overall. He had elite development, and he took a major step forward. Even star development, if I upgrade the right things on 71 overall, Joshua Sapp might be able to turn him into a beast. Those coverage stats make it to where I never want to see him on the field, though IQ and run stopping would increase his overall a lot. He's just going to need some more time before we get him out there consistently. Daryl Cush up to a 92 overall defensive tackle. If you improve run stopping, That will make a great difference. We could also look at some abilities as well. Let's get over to the quarterback side of things, though, where Devonta Worthy, with his elite development, already had skill points saved up that South Carolina was not spending, has 75 to spend. With another 19 to spare, I've been able to max out his accuracies. He might be better than Brady Hart. He does have 80 speed. He's a little bit quicker. We could always increase his IQ and throw power too. Field general, not a bad ability to have, though we cannot upgrade it. Looking at some of these abilities, increased accuracy in pocket for open receivers, I would love to have that as an ability, and also just improving our ability to resist the pressure. I thought the future was going to be Greg Gage, but after upgrading him, he basically does everything just a little bit better. Now we have Brady Hart, and he still has 27 skill points to spend with his impact development. His accuracy can get a little bit higher, but it doesn't even compare to what we have with Devonta Worthy. His throw power is only 88, and you could argue that some of his abilities are really good, but he's going to be a backup quarterback again. We're also about to feast with Alex Merriman. He had some skill points already before we got to training results, which was really nice. His speed is going to be 97. And I'm not going to be able to max out Shifty, unfortunately, but we can take Sidestep to a gold. I worked on this a little bit whenever he had those skill points beforehand. As you can see, his elusiveness was already maxed out when he was a receiver. Bringing him over was one of the greatest decisions ever. We also improved his power before we moved him over the season before. There was just no way any of these other running backs could compete with that. I'm very proud with what we've developed, because when we recruited Alex Merriman, this was always our plan. It just took multiple years for him to get to this point. Then the fact that Micah Tease did not go on to the NFL, big deal for us, even though his catching's already maxed out at 99. His route running's maxed out. I guess we can improve on some of his abilities. With Platinum Sidestep, Gold 360, and then a maxed out elusiveness, he's going to be pretty hard to stop after any catch he makes, but his route running, it's just not good. It's like Courtney Crutchfield all over again. That makes more sense, though, why he wasn't able to beat guys deep consistently. Zach Forrest is a different story, though. He's 96 speed already. We're going to max out his route running. I've also got Cutter on him, and I could take it up to Platinum, or we could spend some more skill points on just making his catching better. And I think that's going to pay off in the long run. Of all the guys we got in this receiving room, I can't tell you that the 6'4 receiver is the best one, because we actually saw a lot of really good progression out of some of these younger receivers that aren't going to see the field as much. I mean, everybody on this speed is a lot quicker than what we've been dealing with. No 99 speeds, though, like Jordan Anthony early on in season 1. I still think those guys will be pretty impressive for us. Jeff Bobo is up to an 86 overall as well. I want to get Cutter upgraded, but he only has 5 skill points left, so we could improve his route running. He's not as great as Jaden Platt was for us, but he's also only a sophomore. He's got time to develop. Now I get to work on our offensive line. Players like Lucas Austin, who got holding penalties all season, I get to improve them, and I think every single starter is a senior. By the time I'm done progressing all of these guys on this team, you're going to see that our offensive line has the most guys above a 90+ overall. They're going to have to carry us, which is really nice, because having them and Alex Merriman should make our running game even better than it was last season. But again, it is Devonta Worthy that I am most excited about. He is 6'5", just a freshman with elite development, accuracy already maxed out. As we can get his speed up in future seasons, he should be a beast. We could also get the extender ability on him, which is super OP. But after progressing everybody really far, I've realized that's going to cause more guys to want to transfer out as the year goes on, or they're just going to enter the NFL draft early. One thing I can do is I can get rid of guys that are just lower overalls on this team that I don't think will ever see the field for us. Like even with Jeremiah Sims, his dev trait's normal, so he won't ever be great. I have to accept, if we have an 85 speed running back, I don't want that on this team. They're just going to waste a roster spot. With those roster cuts out of the way, we're ready to get into another season. Now we have more guys that are going to transfer than what it was a couple weeks ago. I don't know why it took it time to upgrade, but Tim Ball is already talking about transferring out of this program for a second time. We're a 99 overall. And it's not even a question. This is the best team we've had so far. I give a lot of credit to that, to this talent developer that we've mainly used for our offense. It puts us in a position where in year 4, we might be able to get Sam Pittman to 10 wins at Arkansas for the first time. We might be able to do more than that as well. You just never know with these sliders. They make things a challenge, but I think we have the best team that we could possibly have to take them on.